It's okay. Warming up. We'll be starting in a few minutes.
No, that's a super quiet burp. I burped, but it was stealthy. Okay, wait. Let me get this ready.
Waiting for the link to pop up. Okay, I see the link in YouTube. The feed is running. Hey, Pico. Nice to have you this early. Please reshare the link. I see the link in Facebook. I'm a bit worried. I heard beeping sound.
Why?
I don't know if that's the battery of the headphone. Okay. Facebook is up. Resharing the link to friends and family.
Yeah, same with Twitter. I'm going to say. One moment. We are starting shortly. What did I entitle?
Sharing the perils of not having tech crew.
DIY everything.
Okay. Share the link. Pico, that episode number. Well,
that was just totally random.
That was, yes.
Very appropriate. Okay. I see you sharing because I now have many chats that are active. Oops. Okay. Hello, Chai.
Hey,
Thank you for joining. Please like, please share, all the fun stuff.
And signal boosting as well in Twitter.
We really need like some safe, royalty-free filler music. I don't know.
Or hopefully Mitch will send us one.
Mitch humming our one day theme song.
Or Mitch might be just repeatedly saying, you know, Fiskis, Baduy pride,
That's going to be our theme song. After 169 episodes. No problem. Thank you for tagging. We appreciate the help to spread this out. You know, these Fridays are fun. We have not scheduled anything for next week.
This is a slightly guilty episode because there are people who are also practicing other more traditional practices for tonight.
That's okay. If they were truly, sincerely practicing, then I'm sure they would not be online. They should be, sitting in the dark in quiet
at the same time,
contemplation.
I'd like to think everyone just approaches things in their own way. So we all have the right to practice the way we prefer.
Yes.
Tonight, though, is an interesting night. We are hoping to start very soon. We've shared the link. We're boosting the signal. It's 169 episodes. Can you imagine that? 169 episodes.
Still shorter than quarantine. Off the bad start. I'm so sorry.
Kala ko ba? No. Okay, I will prepare because it is the weekend. And yes, again, thank you to Jed and Marco.
Yay!
We always have you in our thoughts.
This is my new favorite storage. It saves me time.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot.
What are you trying to do there?
I guess I did not intend to put that much.
Are you trying to get me drunk, sir?
No, of course not. I don't try. I do.
Hey, Noel. Again, the Noel joins right around now. See, perfect time.
Okay, I guess in 1 minute we can officially start. That should be enough time.
We can also celebrate that we have like 10 people in the stream.
But yes, thank you for beating our 10-meter. We are still a young show, so 10 people watching is already something we celebrate. We have our own tube, guys. You can see. Thank you to Carlo. Thank you to Ed and David for the batteries that will always be empowering our tube guys.
I also realized my keyboard is super far away.
Let's say battery-powered tube guy. Okay.
I'm just a hard time typing with my short arms.
Well, I don't have problems with your short arms.
All ages show.
All ages show. All ages show. This is Toby.
And this is Rocky.
And if it's your first time here, welcome to Sorry.
Porket all ages, pumipiyok ka. Okay.
I know! If it's your first time here, welcome to Baduy Pride, a little space on the internet where we talk about anything we want.
It is completely unscripted and not entirely accurate, but at least it's honest. Join us as we talk about everything and anything random live.
And if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for joining us again. It's an exciting Friday night.
Yes, it's Friday.
And it's our 169th episode, the perfect number for tonight's topic. What?
Is it? No, okay. But yeah, today we're super excited to have the drag artists of AnTuTan Says, and we'll explain that acronym and all these things when everybody's on the feed. So warm welcome, give your hearts, your likes, whatever. I will start bringing everybody in. Ladies, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Hello, everyone. And
hello. Oh,
hello.
What happened to one of the feeds?
Oh, Anita.
Anita has frozen.
Or have we frozen?
Anira?
Oh, wait, no, there. Okay, Anita.
Okay.
Nawala sa screen natin for a moment. How odd. But
Okay.
anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to Baduy Pride.
Yay.
So with us tonight,
Hey.
you wanna do the honors of
Oh, we can go through. All right. So we have first Mrs. Tan. Say hello.
Hello po! Yun lang.
We have Samael Sanskont.
Hi.
Of course, we have Corinne Quinto.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Me to Baduy Pride.
Yes. And also first time on the show, Queen Anita.
Queen Anita, who is having some signal issues.
Hello. Can you hear us?
That challenges of
Share
royalty.
nyo naman yung live. Share nyo naman yung live, guys. Hindi mag-share. Dadalawin ni Lord.
Oh my gosh. Hindi ko yata na-mention before the show na hinay-hinay din sa sacrilegious statement.
But it's alright.
No. It's
Patay siya sa nga at this moment. Sorry.
So, we should always start with the appropriate, which is to
Introductions.
and
we can go through everyone's soji and then everyone's preferred pronouns just to make sure that we address everyone correctly. So I'll go in that same order. Oh no, but I'll hide Anita first while she's fixing. Okay. Okay, so Mrs. Tan.
Hello!
Yeah.
Hello po! Welcome back to me again.
Yes.
Para nandito lang ako Nako Huwag kayong mag-alala, magiging regular na ako sa Baduy Pride.
Why not?
Ayan,
So how do you identify in terms of your soji, and then what are your preferred pronouns?
Ayan, ako po si Mrs. Tan, that's MRSTA, and you can follow me on Instagram at HEYMRSTA, and that's Mrs. Tan. Ang soji ko po ay queer, and my pronouns out of drag is they, them, and actually, wala akong pake, pero for formalities, any na trip ko nung araw na yon. Pero ngayon, ang trip ko ay, she, her. Ganon. Bilang nakatalaga tayo ngayon. Tsaka bilat-bilat.
All right, thank you. And then Samael.
Hi, I'm Samuel Saskant, and I'm a non-binary drag king. So so that's my soji, non-binary. And my pronouns are he, they, but I would prefer he, like as much as possible.
Ooh, okay.
Thank you.
He, they. That's an interesting shit. But yeah, we can work with that. No problem. And then I think you're our first drag king on the show.
Yes.
So achievement. All right. And then Turing.
Hello everyone, this is your Attitude, Turing Quinto. And ang soji ko ay I'm gay, homo, gender fluid, and feminine. So ang pronouns ko ay, dahil naka-drug tayo ngayon, ay she, her. So yun. Actually, pwede naman akong he, him, pero mas sanay na ako ngayong she, her.
Okay.
Okay. And then
I think Anita is ready. Double check na lang sa chat just to make sure. We have a private chat kasi of course for backstage. I guess we should also tell ours.
Yeah, we've never. I think we mention it every now and then. We never formally.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like the joke. I'm super gay, but and then yeah, my pronouns are still he, him, and all that. But then yeah, very 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 gay. Okay, and then
So me, I'm happily bisexual. I use gay though because it's easier for most people to understand. But bisexual, he, him. But generally, I'm fine.
I'm fine. Sometimes a dog. All right. I appreciate the hashtag.
Sometimes, yeah.
Anita is essential. Let's hope Anita, are you okay?
Anita looks sad backstage.
Ang alam ko din tayo, Anita is essential.
Diba? I support
Anita
this.
is
Okay.
essential.
So we'll get back to Anita's introductions when she gumalaw na konti.
Sige.
Okay.
You'll just have to check every now and then. Gumagalaw naman eh. So, but I don't know kung wala ta siyang access sa chat. Because remember, that's the other device.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we'll just have to pull her in.
Okay, wait.
Anita! I summon you!
Hello?
Yan.
Hello?
Anita!
Hello, Mami.
I made it.
Hi.
We can hear you.
Hello po.
Yeah.
Okay, and then can you, are you okay? Sorry. And then, if you want, you can introduce and, was this your soji and your preferred pronouns?
Okay. Hi, Inay, Tay. Andito na po ako. Maraming salamat po, PLDT Smart. Hello po to everyone who's tuned in to Baduy Pride. My name is Queen Anita of AnTuTan Says. Ayun. My soji, naku, medyo mahaba to kasi honestly, hindi ko po talaga masagot ang tanong na yan. But for tonight, I prefer to be directed as her. She, her.
Okay. That's fine.
Thank you for sharing that.
And I think now that we've been doing these guest shows a bit more regularly, it fascinates me that there is the disclaimer of while in drag, these are my pronouns. While out of drag, potentially iba, which is
Depends on the
nice.
person,
Yeah, which is super nice.
We will also be flashing the tipping details. It should be pinned in the comments as well.
Oh, I have to pin it in the comments. Wait lang.
Ayan.
Tao sa show na walang tech crew.
We are your
Ay naman, papalog naman kayo agad. Grabe naman kayo.
Of course.
Grabe
So,
naman kayo.
details will be shared.
Sana may magpaalog. Oh my God.
Feeling
Oh my
ko talaga
God.
sino papaalog talaga agad. Kayo naman, grabe naman. Sayang naman yung rappers tonight.
Nag-choker pa naman ako na
So while Rocky is working on pinning the information,
Yes, please continue.
I shall continue the show by starting with the title, of course. We had a lot of friends who were curious why AnTuTan Says. Who would like to share the story behind the name and how this group began?
I think ang tamang tao na magsasabi ng AnTuTan Says ay si Mrs. Tan dahil siya po ang nagpangalan ng AnTuTan Says.
Natatawa na ako until now kasi noong una kasi parang nagsimula talaga siya sa inuman lang talaga. Parang
Okay.
nagkita-kita kami tatlo ako, si Turing, at saka si Anita, si Mami. Nagkita-kita kami na, kumustahan. Nagsimula talaga siya sa kumustahan. Tapos, yung inuman, nasundan ng ilang pang inuman. Tapos, parang, since nagla-live kami ni Ate Turing, naisip namin na, what if, mag-live naman tayo together? Tapos, buuin natin yung, Tapos, syempre, kailangan witty yung name. Tapos, actually, group ko lang siya nung nagsasuggest. Tapos parang, ang weird nga nun kasi nasa Samgyup, tapos magkaawat kami ng jowa ko nun, nung may jowa pa ako. Charis. Tapos nasa isip ko, ano bang magandang gawin? Ano bang magandang pangalan ng grupo na to? Tapos naisip ko, yung initials pala namin, Anita, Turing, tapos Tan. Tapos, alam naman natin na maraming mahilig talaga sa sex, so gamitin natin yon. So, AnTuTan. Tapos nung first episode namin, ang naging guest namin talaga una ay si Samael. Tapos si Samael, since sabi namin parang, si Samael in line dun sa connection naming tatlo. Join natin siya sa grupo. Tapos, ano yung magandang pangalan ulit? Ano ba? AnTuTan? Charis! AnTuTan. or AnTuTan Says, mga ganun, chururut. Hanggang sa napag-decide naming lahat na AnTuTan Says na. Pero yung connection, feeling ko si Mami Anita yung makakasagot pa ng mas deep.
May mas deep pang story.
Meron pa?
Oo naman. Syempre naman.
So, Anita, would you like to share this deeper story?
Ala, bunutan na dito, ha? Akala ko magkakagrupo tayo. Up until now, we're very open. Dun sa mga nagtatanong, we always share with other people kung saan talaga nagsimula ang AnTuTan. Because it is something na gusto namin maging inspirasyon din sa iba. Siguro, nagsimula siya, syempre, because of the pandemic. At ang pinaka-close na linya na pwede kong sabihin where it all started is we're there for each one when everyone else were not. Kumbaga, during our personal darkest days of the pandemic, which is around April, May, June, kaming tatlo yung nandun para sa isa't
isa.
So, dun talaga nagsimula. Although, Turing and I, we were friends.
Oh no. Nakakat ang signal mo, Anita.
Iba, pumasok na lang. Then,
wait, Mami.
Nung time na simula ng pandemya, siguro, it's safe to say na,
Yeah, nagcha-choppy yung signal mo every now and then, so napuputol-putol yung sentences mo. Sadly.
So I have to start.
Natin yung
actually, it's a prank.
April 2 na. Tapos na yung April 1.
To cut the long story short, ang AnTuTan Says, nabuo siya dahil kami yung nandyan pag kailangan namin ng kausap for each one of us. So naghang na naman.
Sakto yan.
Galing yan. Alam naman natin ang Pilipinas talaga.
Dugtungan ko naman ako. Hindi, sige, dudugtungan ko na. Kumbaga, ang punto ni Anita is, kaming apat kaya kami nabuo kasi kaming apat yung magkakasama. Kung kami yung tinatakbuhan namin ng isa't isa whenever we are feeling down. So, dun siya nagsimula. So, ako, like for me, last year, when I'm thinking of, while I was in a dark place, I went to Anita, to talk to her, tapos nag-usap-usap kami, and then si Mrs. Tan naman kasi, nung from Batangas, nagpunta siya dito sa Philippines. Wow, Batangas ibang bansa. Nagpunta na siya dito sa Manila. tumira siya sa LA pero ang lagi niyang kachat si Anita. And then si Samael naman laging kachat ni Mrs. Stan.
Okay.
So tas nung nagsama-sama kami, pare-pareho kami ng wavelength, pare-pareho kami ng mga liko ng mga ng utak, and pare-pareho kami ng perspective, I guess, if you will. Pare-pareho kami ng point of views, if you will. So, nag-inline talaga kami. So, ayun. Yun.
You mentioned na nagkaka-pareho ng perspective and wavelength. I'd like to dig more into that. So like, I guess we could approach that chronologically. Kasi, andito kami, syempre, ang kilala namin si Anita tsaka si Turing.
Mainly.
We knew Anita from way back because we've been going to OBAR. And then eventually we met Turing when Turing started at sobra na tayong na-in-love sa performances niya. So makulit na tayo that early.
Yes.
And then it was only with AnTuTan Says that we, well, it was only during the pandemic that we also started to get introduced to the others. So in your case, paano nag-start? You mentioned briefly kanina na magka-chat na, but if it's okay, parang at that time, were you talking na about performances? Were you just talking because you were friends from before? Yeah.
Ano lang, para lang siyang ano talaga, para mas sharing lang siya, kumusta ka, ganito, ganyan. Kumustahan lang talaga siya, doon talaga siya nagsimula. Tapos, kasi kami ni Anita, magnanay kasi kami, kaya lagi kami magkausap. So, nag-mother ko si Anita. Tapos parang, tapos si Ate Turing, siya kasi, nung nag-over kasi ako before, si Ate Turing yung isa talaga sa mga nag-guide sa akin throughout the process. Tapos si Samael, nakilala ko naman si Samael sa isang, nung nag-live ako one time, jumoin si Samael. Tapos, ay parang happy ko usap si Bakla. Tapos tuloy-tuloy na kami, te. Tapos doon lang talaga siya nagsimula na bonding hanggang sa, what if mag-live kaya tayo? Para-paras naman tayo nagdadalaga, ginagawa naman ang lahat. So, why not try it, di ba? Malay naman natin mag-work. Kasi ang feeling ko yung common love for the craft, yun talaga yung nag-bind sa amin din. At saka, yun talaga mga take talaga sa ilang mga bagay na parang, ay, pag ganito, ganyan, tapos kailangan ng alalay sa gantong pinagdadaanan, kemerut. Tsaka, iba din kasi talaga yung nagagawa ng nagigets nyo kung saan nanggagaling yung isa't isa without, paano ko ba i-explain? Basta parang
balikan ka namin, ha?
Parang tapos na we found love in a hopeless place. Ganon.
Okay. I'd like to direct naman the question to Samael. So na-mention nga na nanonood and then eventually nakiguest. But how did it start naman for you? How did you get to know them? How did you learn about them before you got to know them?
Actually, for me, like I remember the early days of Drag Playhouse PH. Where it was like original, like, where Mrs. Tan was originally like one of the members, and like they had like a makeup like little makeup challenges like every week. So like sumali ako, and then like I just followed like everyone like. I was aggressively following local drag artists. That's for a while, and then like
aggressively following.
Like, so I ended up like going live with Mrs. Tan on Instagram. It was really funny because like we started on like IG live, and then at some point like naging private call na lang until like 5 a.m. in the morning.
O minsan naman pa 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Which is a true sign of wavelength talaga. Na, diba? The conversation just flows freely, walang effort.
You just lose track of time.
Yeah. We just like to tell just to briefly, to everyone else watching, please send in your comments, your questions, your statements. We'll be happy to incorporate it to the show because that's how Baduy Pride is. But yes, Samael, please continue.
But yeah, actually, I never thought I would be performing so soon because like drag baby talaga ako. Like it's been like barely like 2 years. So si Mrs. Tan actually convinced me to like perform sa live nila sa LA Queens. And then like started like and then introduced me to like tutoring first sa was it UP Pride, no? UP Pride.
Right.
Yes.
Mm.
And then I met like Anita on like the first day of like AnTuTan Says. And like we just all like we all had like a very open discussions. We were very frank and like willing to listen to each other. I think that was like a very like that was a very good sign of our connection. So yan.
Sobrang hirap kasi ngayon ng makahanap ng mga taong makikinig talaga at saka willing kang pakinggan din. So parang ang ganda nun na punto mo sa Amael. Perfect yan. Tapos later on yung family, yung grupo, nag-extend siya na hindi na lang kami grupo. Isa na siyang malaking pamilya na kasama yan sina Chai, sina Vivi, sina Ate Jane, sina Carlo, and so on and so forth. Yan, marami.
Okay, that's fascinating. I totally agree with the difficulty in finding people who match your wavelength. Because there's always that, there are people who you see as acquaintances. Like tayo, we talk about how when we go to Obar dati, there's a bunch of people we know by face.
We have bar friends.
There are people we always say hi to the moment we see them.
Yes.
But we don't really count them as friends because we don't really know them. And we don't really jive with them.
Or
perfectly.
or
We're
at least we haven't the level of friendship hasn't gone in that direction. To be fair, a place like Obar is great for watching drag. It's not the best place for conversations.
But we've also had friends who we see so rarely. Pero sobrang pag nagkita, akala mo kahapon lang kayo naghuling nagkita. Kasi sobrang nagja-jive talaga.
And I find it's kind of fascinating across this pandemic period where we've seen, I think it was interesting to see how people kind of gravitate towards certain circles, diba? Because now that we no longer have like the casual like bumping into each other at work or seeing each other at this or that bar, then it's because there's more effort to talk to people. You really have to like set aside, I want to talk to this person, I have to set up a call, I have to blah, blah, blah. And then the people you actually end up talking to on a regular basis throughout this staying at home period, it kind of tells you like where the friendships kind of go. Because same thing, like we have so many acquaintances, so many friends, but then there are only like certain people that we've really talked to like regularly throughout this pandemic. So and it's it's the nature of it. It's not a good or a bad thing in itself. It's just human dynamics. So it's nice to see how you came together. Okay.
Sorry. Na-trigger ako sa word came together. I'm bad.
Wow. Today,
Tama naman sa pangalan ng grupo, which is AnTuTan.
I know.
With episode 169.
Episode 169.
I'm sorry.
Over
I'm
me.
sorry, and it's Good Friday pa man din. Yan. Spoiler shark. Oh my God. Okay. Continue.
Where do I continue from that? No.
Well, I can tell you where to go, but we have a show. So let's continue with the show. Wala pa si Anita, no?
Yeah, nag-restart siya ng mga devices.
So in our previous shows, we've had the joy of having both Turing and Mrs. Tan in previous shows, and we've had the chance to ask them questions na very slumbook feeling in the sense of getting to know you. Since di pa ready si Anita,
yeah, we're still testing.
Would it be okay sa Mael if we ask you a few questions to get to know you more?
I am
As always, you can say pass, next question, and we're totally fine with that.
Safe space.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so our questions, some of them would be familiar to Mrs. Tan and Turing. We'd like to know, what was your very first experience or exposure to the existence of drag?
Oh gosh, like sobrang tagal na, like cause like my first experience was watching season 3 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
Like all those years ago.
It's a good place to start.
And honestly, like this is where like I kind of have a like mixed feelings about the show. Kasi for the longest time, kala ko na like dahil I was assigned female at birth, na I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
do drag.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of like for like all those years, I just kind of described myself as like dressing like an
Mm-hmm.
anime-ish.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Pero yun pala, like it also counted as drag. And then I realized like um 6 years ago when I watched like a Landon Cider video now that drag kings like also existed. They were
Yes.
just
Mm.
never on the show. So
Mm-hmm.
yun, like so technically Landon Cider is like my like inspiration for getting into drag talaga. And
Mm-hmm.
like I only started like when was it was before Work the World like so like 2019 2019
Mm-hmm.
tama ba? Yeah, like I just decided like you know what like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do drag. I'm gonna just express myself, be who I am, and then I
Mm-hmm.
got my that's how I got my name, my new name, like in and out of drag, like Samael. So
Mm.
yeah, that's my
And
start.
then like so okay, Shepherd, from a very like simplistic perspective, I think a lot of people when they think automatically because drag queens are like the more predominant like or at least
Mm.
the ones that people are more familiar with. And then when you think of what you think of drag kings, the automatic assumption is it's highly
Universal.
masculinized,
Right.
masculine presenting. So
Mhm.
how do you define your take on drag?
Yes.
For me kasi it's like I'm a non-binary individual like
Mm.
yung sinabi ko kanina. And
Yes.
I
Mm-hmm.
like the thing about being non-binary is like there's like this expectation of like you have to look a certain way. If you prefer
Yes.
male pronouns, you have to lean like towards masculine like
Mm-hmm.
presentation. And like if you lean like if you have female pronouns, you like lean towards like a feminine masculine feminine presentation.
Mm-hmm.
Pero it's not always the case because like everyone has like different ways of expression. Like I prefer male pronouns, but I have like a more
Mm-hmm.
feminine presentation.
Mm-mm.
So like with my
Mm-hmm.
drag, I like doing a more masculine face with like more feminine and sometimes androgynous outfits because I want to
Mm-hmm.
challenge like the sort of like stereotypes or like perceptions of gender because like the
Yes.
wonderful thing about gender is it's a spectrum. It's like not
Yes.
everyone has like a different perspective. Everyone has like a different
Mm-hmm.
identity, and like I just want to normalize
Mm-hmm.
like that everyone has like a different way. Like you don't have to like subscribe to traditional gender roles.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Absolutely.
yeah.
And then to follow it up lang, um, did you have experience or background in performing prior to doing this? Like, um, I think all of us being children raised in the Philippines, ano yan, you have the family Christmas gatherings na may kakanta or may group performance or the office, ano. But then there are people also who, even at a young age, were already doing theater or were
Mm.
already performing in school. So how about
Uh,
you?
Okay, nung bata ako, I went to trumpets. So,
Trumpet!
Oh.
pero
Wow.
I didn't like I didn't like continue it because
Mhm.
like anxiety. And
Enough said. Next
ano
topic.
pero yun, like that was like my like I've always loved the stage. Like I love watching like
Mhm.
people perform and like I always dreamed of like being up there one day like myself.
Mhm.
So like but aside from that like most of my like performance stuff is just like music. Like I
Mhm.
used to play guitar, violin, and saxophone and piano.
Mhm.
And then like to get over like like stage fright, I had powerlifting.
Mm.
So yun. So yun.
That is one way to get through anxiety.
Oo.
Kapag yung
That's your way to do
powerlifting,
it.
kaya nyo yun.
Uh Actually like yung record ko sa squats I think was like 112 kilos.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my God, parang ako, 112 kilos. Seryoso.
Lifting or weight mo?
Kilos or pounds?
112 kilos is equal to 2 times 2.2. Tama ba?
Divided
Parang,
with
Yeah.
times.
yeah, times
Yeah, times
2.2
yeah.
kilograms to pounds.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tignan natin
Kaya niyo yan,
Alam
baby
ko,
girl.
112 kilos ako eh.
Mga bagay na dapat di na natin pinoproblema, may Google Translate.
Tama nga, 112 kilos nga ako kasi 248 pounds ako eh.
Ay.
So of course si Chai, one of the frequent supporters.
One of the trash players.
as a very makulit, sinong teacher mo? Sinong teacher mo sa play shop?
Ang tagal na, di ko maalala. Literally, like, single digits. Like, single digit lang ako. Na bata. So, yun.
Mitch is here. Siyempre, may math lesson bigla. Yes, I'm so sorry.
Hello, Michelle Santos. Hi.
So yan, yung math lesson pwede nating i-apply sa tipping details na nandyan below. So meron tayong GCash, PayPal, at saka BDO.
Ang ganda ng
Oo nga
segue.
po. Galing si Willis tayo sa segue. Best in segue si Willis.
Very good, very good.
Of course, and please do tip your queens and the performers and artists. It is troubling times because we are going beyond a year now of quarantine.
Oh, true.
So we have to help each other out. You know, if we can't rely on people who have more means, then we have to rely on each other. Moving on.
Oof, that felt heavier than it should have been.
Hello, Michelle
Sorry.
Santos.
Maraming frustrations.
Ay,
Okay.
naman daw. Alaka naman, Julius.
Nagigit.
Dapat divided by 4.
Yeah, wala kaming cut dyan, so don't worry. This is all
Yes,
for
yes.
them.
All tips will go to them. We're just facilitating because we want to show our love and support. We're trying also to do this to help visibility because we know that people who watch our show tend to be of a different
I don't know who watches our show sometimes.
So I'm just happy to be able to help out in any way we can. So let's move to some questions that we brought up with some of the guests before. And then we can again start with Samael and go around if others want to share also. But some talk about drag as a form of expression, while others talk about it as craft. Would you like to share your thoughts on that?
Or some share it as job.
Honestly, there's like an intersection talaga like with all three because like it's not it has to be expression because like how else would you like be able to like convey emotion like when you perform? It has to be a craft because like you work hard at it. You have to learn like techniques, you have to learn like methods and stuff. It's also a job because like for people this is what they love, this is what they do, and like they need it like sometimes like it does need to be monetized because like you put so much work into like what you do, like you deserve to get something back for it. So like it's all three talaga. But like
yeah, go on.
But like I think the important thing is like within all of that you need like the passion and dedication to be able to like perform.
Yes. Related to that, I would just ask, what would then be your thoughts on those who, let's say, they get started and they see it really as a form of expression. So when people give advice or when people try to tell them, oh, maybe you can try this kasi para mas gumanda, ang feeling nila parang wag ka makialam, this is my expression. So how would you see that perspective? And for me kasi, syempre everyone has their own journey and everyone will find their own way, not necessarily at the time we want them to. But I'd like to also hear your views.
I think the thing kasi is like there's like people need to know the difference between constructive criticism and just saying, oh, change that. Like yun yung difference talaga. Because like if you really want the person to improve, you would say like what they can improve on. Or like like there's also a difference between understanding if like someone's style is just different from yours, but like the artistry is still there. Because like like I can do beauty, like makeup, but like it's not my preference. I prefer like you've seen my usual face, like the white and like the and the colors, like because it's fun for me. Like
Yes.
I get to become like my truest self in a sense. Pero no, like if it's not someone's like I can still adapt naman. I can still do different things. That's why I like playing with makeup talaga. So like if anyone has suggestions, like anything to like improve like techniques, that's not bad. It's just like when people like are judgmental and mean, like sometimes like it comes from a lot of like parang ano like it's from the people who don't do drag that like are the most critical about drag, some like drag
Yes.
artists. So like I think that's
Yes.
the problem. Like if ang dami mong sinasabi, bakit hindi mo ginagawa? So, yun.
Yeah. I'd like to hear Turing add to this because I loved all of Turing's facial expressions.
Hindi, natutuwa ako kasi lahat ng sinasabi ni Samael, totoo. So kaya lang ako na ano, pero yeah, gusto ko dagdag doon. Totoo naman 'yun. Marami kasi talaga ang mga kung sino pa yung mga nagko-comment na why do you do ba't di mo gawin to, ba't di mo gawin 'yan. Sila kasi yung sila pa yung hindi alam kung ano yung ginagawa namin in general. So like ano ba, how do I say this? Sa konteksto kasi ng Pilipinas, pag sinabi kasing drag, hindi kasi ang mahirap, how do I explain this? How do I put this into words? Kasi namulat kasi ang lahat, halos lahat, I mean, especially here in the Philippines, namulat tayo sa mundo ng drag na ang reference natin ay ang RuPaul's Drag Race. Having said that, a lot of people are basing their references or basing their standards sa mga nakikita nilang mga drag queens na kung saan hindi ganun talaga dapat kasi may iba't iba tayong mga iba't ibang drag queens. At saka sinabi ko nga sa masterclass ko, yung look mo minsan nababase sa talento mo at nababase sa budget mo. Kasi tandaan, kasi gusto ko lang sabihin to na sa mga fans ng RuPaul's Drag Race na ginagawang standard of drag ang Drag Race, kaya sila may nasasabi sa mga ibang drag queens or drag kings, ay tandaan nyo, yun ay television show. When they audition, once they pass the audition, once they are part of the show, they are asked to prepare 50 to 100 costumes or depende, at least yun yung alam ko sa Drag Race Thailand kasi yun yung na-experience ni Mama Mocha Diva. She was asked to prepare 50 to 100 garments. And then dun mamimiling producers on what kind of garments they would want to see sa show. So I don't know with the US format or the other format internationally, pero in general, they were asked. Hindi sila, alam mo yon, hindi sila kung ano yung nandito sa sa mga gamit mo.
Yeah.
So, kumbaga, when people saw what people saw in the television show are super duper glamorized talaga. So what's the hirap explain. There is this episode sa Drag Race UK where Tia Coffee was sinabihan siya ni Michelle Visage na yung suot mo ay maganda for a bar scene. Pero this is a television show. So kailangan mo elevate. Pero if you would, may point siya doon. So doon, medyo nabali yung fourth wall na tatawag nating fourth wall or illusion na oo nga pala no, iba nga pala ang itsura ng mga nasa bar at saka yung nasa television show. So ayun.
And hindi naman ito television show. Isa siyang hindi naman malaking reality show ang buhay. Magkaiba yon. Tsaka imposible namang hindi sila nalalapot Nalalapot yan, nag-retouch din yan.
Correct. At saka if you would to watch sa isang HD na television or panoorin mo sa yung super HD na TV, yung mga episode, makikita mo yung mga lace front nila nakaangat na. Pero pag pinanood mo, ay, lakado. Pero pag pinanood mo sa HD cam, mga
natatago ng blur.
yes, tinatago na may laugh lines na rin, nakaangat na rin yung mga laces nila, makikita mo yung mga ano, they are not that perfect. So, ayun, going back sa sinabi ni Samael na those people who are, who are saying bad stuff or mean stuff sa mga drag queens and drag kings, sila pa yung hindi talaga nakakaintindi ng drag. I mean, girl, hindi naman to pag gumanon kami, eto nakaganda. It takes a lot of time.
TikTok
Kaya ko
lang
hindi
yun.
naman nabuburo ng pengkay kasi Pero depende kasi din yun sa preference. Charis! Hindi na ako nagbubura, ito na ako.
And then I feel the same way, especially like, it's even like when people complain about decisions on Drag Race and whatever. I mean, ultimately, it's a competition show, but then as branded, it's a competition show from the perspective of one person. It is RuPaul.
It's her show. It's her decisions.
She gets to dictate whatever she wants, and we don't, there's no criteria. There's no DTI checking in that it's a fair competition because it's a show, and
Actually,
she's not judging from her perspective of what's the best drag overall. It's what's the best drag for her.
Yes.
No, hindi, Sir Toby Siraki, meron na kadadagdag dyan. It's also the producers who get to decide sino tatanggalin nila at sino pag-stay nila. Kasi for example, sa perspective ng isang producer, napakagaling niya. Tapos ang kalaban niya, sobrang machika.
Yeah nga
Pero silang bottom two, ngayon, magkakaroon ng dilemma yung producer at saka si RuPaul, mag-uusap sila. Sinong pag-stay natin? Yung magbibigay sa atin ng ratings o yung magbibigay sa atin ng magandang itsura sa camera? So, at the end of the day, it's always the ratings. So,
at the end of the day, it's still a show.
So, mananatili pa rin si Candy Muse. Charing!
I didn't want to say it, but thank you.
I mean, kumbaga, parang in character ng maingay. Mananatili pa rin. So, i-personify natin siya, Candy Muse. Mananatili pa rin
siya.
natin
sa pangalang Candy Muse.
Candy Muse. Kasi siya yung nagbibigay ng drama Kaysa kay Olivia Lux na maganda sa camera pero quiet. Kailangan mo pang pigain ng istorya bago mo may makuha.
Yes, exactly. The show needs the drama. Without the drama, it won't be as popular. Yeah. And that's why the behind the scenes are sobrang marketed as you're missing half the show. Kasi nga, that's what pushes a lot of the narrative. I had friends who watched only the main show.
Yeah.
And they were like, I don't get why it's so popular. But then when they started watching the behind the scenes, bigla na lang fans na rin sila and ganyan. And that's precisely it. It's designed that way.
Yeah.
I feel nga they're even fed questions that are controversial.
Oh, they are.
The reaction.
May mga edits na iba yung tanong pero ito yung sagot nila tapos nalagay dun sa certain situation which is shit.
Even the turning in the workroom because you'll see them in different states of their drag preparation. So minsan I know she did her eyes na but then in the reaction hindi. Mga ganun.
And in the end it's because it's a show.
It's good TV.
It's
still TV.
So then kaya me that I always have this challenge of like when I see criticism or I see people like giving their like tweeting whatever like my idea for this drag or something drag concept and then I don't want to gatekeep but there's that feeling of parang obviously drag race lang yung exposure mo and then I really want to like oh my god can I bring you to a live drag performance? Have you seen what our local queens do? Because it could be so different than what you see. And you're Philippine drag artistry is definitely not Drag Race. It's very, very different. And I don't it's not a comparison. I think it's just a you need to experience it. Okay.
Ang ganda ng sabi ni Sir Noel na Adore, ang dami na daw best nangyari yun. Adore versus Trinity, Lawrence Cheney versus Bimini, Manila versus Naomi. Actually, yung Lawrence Cheney at saka versus Ellie Diamond, pinorward nila yung story na yun.
Yes. And then, I just wanna add din naman, yung Lawrence Cheney and Bimini, isang malaking example siya. Kasi, we know, if you have watched Drag Race UK Season 2, you would know na maganda ang laban between Lawrence and Bimini. And
One
pero
moment, spoilers lang to those still watching the show. Baka ma-mention
hello,
na
yeah.
Okay, continue.
So,
Spoiler warning lang.
ano sila, tawag dito, close yung laban nila, pero marirealize mo na it's Bimini who's being the front runner. Kaya lang, ang premyo kasi ay magkakaroon ng television show sa US. So they need
Yes.
someone, the producers thought of, sino ba ang, si
Mas
Bimini,
maganda.
si Bimini, she's a fashion queen, she's very outspoken, pero medyo political kasi siya.
Yes.
And her comedy is very low key.
Yes. And so
Very-
they went for
Very
this,
British.
so they went for Lawrence Cheney, who is very outspoken, very comedic, at saka malawak yung kumbaga pwedeng masabihan, madiktahan ng producers na you
Mas
do this, you
kakapit
do
sa
that.
masang audience.
Yes.
Mhm.
Pero good thing though, kahit hindi nanalo si Bimini, na-represent siya ng next model management. So, happy ako sa kanya. Isa na siyang supermodel.
Actually,
Yeah, I wanted her to win too, but I knew it won't
Me
happen.
too.
It's
I
it's
really
a,
wanted her to win, kaya lang, yung premyo kasi ay hindi talaga siya para doon. So, it's Lawrence Cheney talaga.
Taste, mas toxic daw si Taste, sabi ni Chai. Actually, marami tayong ano dyan. Marami tayong thoughts about Drag Race.
it's always a rabbit hole to talk about Drag Race.
So just
Well,
for
yeah.
our viewers, Queen Anita informed us privately that her presence might only happen after 10 p.m.
Yung nga, we're waiting
So,
for her
we're
connection to
hoping-
Nagpapahid
stabilize.
pa siya ng langis, guys. Huwag kayong mag-alala. Pagkatapos
hoping to
ng pagpahid
signal.
ng langis, lalabas na ang mga pakpak at mahahati ng katawan niya.
If I'm not as talkative as normal, I am troubleshooting on the side. So.
Yeah, hindi naman tayo yung tatayo sa ilalim ng ng puso ng saging. Tapos ay iba pala yan.
Anong
Sorry.
reference to Toby?
Oh my God, di mo alam? Kayo alam nyo?
Hindi.
Oo, yung ganon.
Oh, see? Alam ko. Yes.
Okay.
Hindi ako nag-iisa. Okay.
Huwag kang
Moving
mag-alala. Mahilig ako manood ng mga aswang movie before. Diba? Tsaka
So,
sine-check ko din kasi yung saging namin kasi taga-probinsya ako. So, kailangan at par. Kailangan sine-check ko din yung mga saging. Tapos, check mo kung may mahuhulog bang
May
something.
Tatiana.
Powerful ka, di ba?
I lack this context.
yes. So, yeah, we can keep talking kasi our show naman is really
Ayan.
all about getting to know each other.
Yes.
Anita
I can hear
is
you.
It's in the chat, so it's a start. Nangyari din sa atin to last time with another set. I think si Precious yung nawala.
Yes.
Okay. So, ayan, may option. Okay.
Hello,
Mary.
Mami. Sabi niya, I can hear you, Mrs. Tan.
So, going back to Samael, if it's okay.
Yes.
Kasi nga, we've had the chance to talk with Mrs. Tan and Turing in the past. So, they're just more questions that are familiar to them. So, you mentioned earlier na hindi mo pa in-expect na magpa-perform ka na. So, you were thrust into the spotlight earlier than you expected. Thrust. Thrust is a nice word. So, stop distracting me. We have to do the show. Mamaya na yun. So, going back. Nawala tuloy ako. Wait.
Wala.
Question to performance.
Performing.
No. Okay. What was the moment for you when you realized, okay, drag is for me?
Drag performing or just
Both.
drag? Okay.
Both. Kasi nga, it's one thing to try it. It's one thing to, let's say, pressure from friends na gawin mo na, and then you're not sure yet if you'll do it. It's also one thing to experiment. But that's another thing to realize, okay, this is something I really embrace.
Mm-hmm.
This is a me.
To make it also like suddenly you have a regular show, every most weeks.
What was that moment? How did it come about?
I don't know if there was a moment kasi like it was just I guess like the first time I ever lip sync like sa like on live, and it wasn't even like I don't think it was even that good. I don't remember. Pero like just the thrill of like being able to like just like be myself and like with the songs I picked and just having fun. Like that was like the really special moment for me. Like it made me love like performing in drag.
Mm.
As for like I started with like I thought I was just gonna be a look king, honestly. So like yun pala like I tried it and then I tried lip syncing and sabi naman like I had potential and I always want to learn. So like ano it's it's been a great experience, like constantly growing. So yeah.
And given that first performance, that was with Mrs. Tan, or that was even an earlier one?
It was with Mrs. Tan.
So going to you, Mrs. Tan, well, would you like to share your thoughts and your feelings about that first performance, which according to Samael, baka daw pangit pa nga that time?
Ay, hindi. Magaling si Samael. At saka alam niya kasi yung ginagawa niya. Yun yung gusto ko kay Samael na alam niya yung ginagawa niya, meron siyang focus. At saka alam niya yung intention, alam niya yung story nung ginagawa niya. As in, minsan nga nagugulat ako. Mas matagal ako nagdadalaga kay Samael, pero feeling ko mas alam niya pa yung mga piyesa ng mas marami pa siyang alam na piyesa kaysa sa akin, yung ganun. Parang si Samael ay made to be a drag performer for a very long time na kailangan ng stage para tuloy-tuloy na mag-book. Yun yung first thoughts ko about Samael. As in, no joke yun. Wahalong etchos yun. Alam to na Samael.
Actually ako, una ko napanood si Samael na sobrang humanga ako sa kanya sa live niya with LA Queens nung pinerform niya yung Getting Married.
Oh, Getting Married today. Yeah.
Pinerform niya yung Getting Married. Tapos doon ako naloka kasi all along, ako lang yung nakakagawa nun. Sabi ko, gusto ko makita na gumagawa rin. Tapos nung nakita ko si Samuel, naloka ako. Super comment ako, tapos chinat ko pa siya. And then, alam niya yung playlist ng Hamilton, which I love as well. So sabi ko,
At male version yung ginawa ni Samael.
Male version ng Getting Married.
Ah, nice.
Yes.
So parang doon sila ni Ate Tours automatic. Diba?
Okay. And then I think we can welcome back formally Miss Queen Anita. Hello.
How are you?
It is after 10.
we all bow in her presence.
Okay, so now you have to answer everything we've been talking about for the past third na.
Actually, Queen Anita.
Yeah.
So nalunok mo na yung mutya.
Sige, Toby.
Andito na ako sa ilalim ng puno ng saging.
Oh, see? Alam niya. See? Okay. So Queen Anita, we'll bring back some of the questions to you kasi nga natanong namin kay Samael. For you naman, how did it start? Kasi backstory lang. So kami ni Rocky, we've known you for quite some time na rin. For more than 10 years.
That's a safe answer.
To keep it safe. And sa more than 10 years na tayong magkakilala, we were, I guess you could say we were witnesses to the journey, but we weren't really fully aware of it.
Yeah.
We weren't kasi we weren't that close in terms of the journey. Diba? We're close to you, but we're not that close to that journey. So would you like to share how it began and
Go, Mommy!
Uh-oh.
So, ayun. Sorry, may konting lag lang naman. Nakuha ko naman yung ano. Well, the journey, it was really a journey. It is really a journey, no? Pero drag, I think ever since malati naman, I've been doing it. Pero talaga, twice a year.
Yun nga it was like an occasional thing. And then it was only like in recent years na parang okay, every night that we see you na, it's like, we're doing this. Then and it's not something we knew how to bring up.
Well, this is really something that I really wanted to do for the longest time. It's just that number one, I really didn't have the time. And the reason why I should do this, aside from me wanting to do it personally. And then until I found the purpose. Which I think most of you are aware. So I think I've been doing this for the past. I started 4 years ago. I mean, after a year nung bagong O-bar. And then naging paunti-unti na. And then I found comfort in it. I found I mean, both of you know that I came from the theater. I came from the corporate
Yes.
world.
Mm-mm.
This is a drag has given me a space where I can sleep with my mind cleared.
Mm-hmm.
I that's the closest situation that I can explain it. Yun yung
Mm-hmm.
pinakamalapit na nakakatulog akong nakangiti kahit pagod na pagod ako.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always remember this is actually a defense na, and parang a perk, or paano ba sabihin to, bonus na lang kasi I mean Toby and Rocky, they know me very well na hindi ako ganun ka masalita, especially with people I don't know and I don't like.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Anita has given me an outlet to be the other person.
Yes.
I will always remember what RuPaul said. Na I will put into my own persona.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if JR can do this, there will be an Anita?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if JR can say this, there will be an Anita? I know it's just a defense, pero it works for me eh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying naman na everybody should follow, everybody should do it. But what works for me might not work for other people, but it works
Yes.
for me. So, and somebody I look up to always said to me naman na go lang nang go. If it makes you happy, if you benefit from it, go. So yun yung so, nakakatuwa yung word na journey kasi sa inyong dalawa ko lang narinig yun. Kasi nga siguro you've been a witness to it for the longest time. And
Yes.
thank you for saying 10 years lang. I really appreciate it.
And ako kasi so there were the events and you would be dressed up, and I was accustomed to seeing that. But I think for me the earliest I remember na hindi event but then my konting dress up was when you brought me and a few other people to the construction site of what will soon be the latest O-Bar nun. And I remember when we went there, sobrang under construction pa talaga. But then, naka-heels ka. At sobrang
ang taas na. Wala ako nun eh. Only saw pictures.
And ano sa mind ko nun, wala pang tao, wala pang event, wala pang happening. Pero bakit ka naka-heels? And I was like wondering parang what was up? Is there something going on here? And I'm sorry but we were going around the construction site habang naka-heels ka.
Buhangin and all.
In total darkness.
Yun pa.
So sobra akong, okay, this is interesting. This is a commitment to something. I wonder what's happening. And I already felt that there was a change that was about to happen in the sense of parang there's a story here that I'm not aware of yet. And syempre at that time, nahiya naman ako to bring it up. Kasi baka naman I'm reading too much into it lang.
Yeah, that was 6 years ago.
So yung mga ganun, yun yung... May pictures pa tayo nun.
Shit. Nakakainis yung may pictures.
Hindi kasi nga, I was at work.
Yes,
time
and
then Toby was like showing me pictures pag go. And then syempre naka-heels siya. in at the construction area. So it's interesting. And you know, and I sense I think Journey captures it well. And we see I say this as friends, like we've seen you for so long, and then definitely something has awakened in you since in the last few years, and like there's definitely a sense of you seeming more comfortable in your skin, and so I'm excited. And then all the more now, you're also performing. And as much as you were doing theater before, but it's only in this pandemic that I've like really seen you perform in drag. So what's that experience
Question
been like?
ba yun?
Yeah, but how is that? How is that like shift? Like, is there a difference? Is it just I don't know. I don't know. How would you like to describe that part of the journey?
Yeah.
How? Well, the
Or
first,
how did you get to the point that it's time to start performing na rin?
it wasn't really very
Wala.
Anita, ano na naman?
At naglipas na po ang ating magic window. We will get back to Anita.
Pang-screenshot yung yung freeze moment ni Anita.
Why?
Sige, let's have a screenshot moment. Pero everyone else, gayahin natin si Anita na.
So, kailangan may arm forward. And then,
Kabilang arm.
Kabilang arm.
Yeah. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh my God. Mapatay tayo ni Jia.
Yeah.
Okay, I will hide first video. Okay. Moving on for now. Oh, hello, Patricia is here. Ang hashtag talaga natin tonight, as reminded by everyone, is Anita is essential.
Yes. But reminding everyone, please do share your love, share your support. Please send tips.
Share the live.
Para may pang-internet na si Mami Anita. Para sa mas malaking si Mami Anita, please tip your queen. Diba? So, ang Gcash natin dyan ay 0919-503-1873. PayPal to rin quinto@gmail.com. And of course, BDO, lahat po yan ay under the name ni Ate Tours.
Mm-hmm.
Huwag kayo magulat lang kasi it's under the name of Ate Tours.
John Arthur Quinto.
I think that's been like the weirdest side effect of this, also this pandemic period with all the drag artistry is that I'm learning everybody's names because of their bank details.
True. Alam mo ba, Sir Rocky, nung tawag dito, katrabaho ko si Anita, di ba, all along. Tapos nitong pandemic ko lang na-realize, nalaman yung tunay niyang pangalan dahil sinend ko sa Gcash. Sabi ko, akala ko ito pangalan. Okay. Pati ikaw, Sir Rocky, nalaman ko na rin yung tunay mong pangalan.
Oh my God. At ang haba-haba na pangalan ko sa Gcash. Thank you. Okay, I think Anita is back-ish. I'll bring you in. And a 1 and a 2 and a hello.
Welcome back. Anita is essential. Can you hear us?
Oh no.
Nag-freeze na naman siya. O habang naka-freeze siya, guys, do not forget to share this live para marami tayo ngayon. At the same time, kung meron kayo dyan extra, pwede kayo mag-tip. Andiyan ang aming tipping details. Yes.
Okay. I think we can move forward.
Yeah. While we're Anita, I'll just move on to questions now for everyone because we want this to continue to be a fun show. So we'll ask the question and then you can choose who'll answer.
Or kahit sino.
Sige. Kasi ang minsan nag-aantayan kasi
sige.
para hindi mag-overlap. But since it is Good Friday,
sige nga. Connect mo to. Sige.
I'd like to hear from each of you the most interesting Friday you could remember or think of.
Basta Friday.
Basta Friday siya. Like for example ako, there was this Friday party that I attended when I was back in college na sobra akong nalasing na I was facing the gutter na medyo nakahiga na ako, nakaganon na ako. At binubuhat ako ng friends ko na Toby, masyado ka na nakainom at ako parang ayoko pa makinig. So they had to bring me to the bathroom, pinaliguan nila ako para magising ako. And hindi pa rin nag-work. So the next morning, pagkagising ko, nasa loob ako ng room, tas lahat ng babae natutulog katabi ko. Kasi as it turns out, sa sobra kong lasing, natulog na ako sa room. And then nung tapos yung party, nag-split ang guys and girls sa separate rooms. Pero nandun ako sa room ng girls. So that was a Friday night I will never forget.
Okay.
Does anyone have their own story of an interesting Friday night they'd like to share? Go,
Anita.
Anita.
Ay.
It would definitely be the last Friday of...
Go lang,
Bago
go
ako
lang.
mawala ulit.
Sige, sige, go.
Ulit. It would definitely be the last Friday of OBAR before the lockdown.
Sige, pakikwento kasi wala kami nun.
I will never forget that night kasi hindi ako magkaintindihan until 11 o'clock kung magbubura ko ng kilay or hindi. Because Fridays are Anita nights, di ba?
Yeah.
And yun yung we don't know what to expect, what's going to happen.
Yes.
Nag-freeze siya, guys.
Oo nga eh.
Why?
Nabura yung kilay.
Anyway, Sir Noel,
Yes,
wala
next.
pa po ako nare-receive. Ay, meron na. Thank you po.
Okay.
I just received
Minsan may
it.
delays.
Yeah. So let's move to anyone who would like to share their Friday story.
Yeah, what's your Friday story?
Siguro maganda kasi wala akong maisip, ang daming biyernes sa buhay ko na hindi ko na matandaan. Pero siguro I think yung kay Anita, gagawin ko na lang din gagawin ko na lang ding sample kasi sa perspective ni Anita yon Friday. Ako naman sa perspective ko bilang drag queen Friday. Kasi last year ang sabi sa lockdown, yung NCR, kumbaga pag nasa loob ka ng NCR, pag nag-lockdown na, hindi ka na pwedeng lumabas.
Yes.
Until the end of the month. Yun kasi yung initial na na
The
story.
definition ng lockdown.
Oo, ng definition ng lockdown. Katapusan ka na makakabalik. So ako, si Mama Kat, si Gigi, kaming tatlo kasi ang taga Rizal. Si Mama Kat at si Gigi Antipolo, ako Kainta. So nag-uusap kaming tatlo, sabi ni Mama Kat, ano ba, tutuloy ba tayo sa birthday show ni Didi? Kasi Sabado birthday show ni Didi.
Yes.
So pinag-usapan namin, sabi ni Mama Kat, ako nagpaalam na ako kay Didi, hindi ako a-attend kasi kapag pumatak na ang linggo, lockdown na ang Manila. Hindi na ako pwedeng lahat ng gamit ko nasa Antipolo, kahit may bahay siya sa 15 sa Cubao. So kami naman ni Gigi, nag-usap kami, sabi ko, sis, paano to? Birthday show ni Didi, tuloy ba tayo? So ako, hindi ko rin alam yung gagawin ko. So na-adin kami kasi pag na-lockdown, pag nakulong kami sa Pasig, hindi na makakalabas nun. Siguro yun yung memorable ko. Sa dami ng biyernes sa buhay ko, paano ko maaalala yung biyernes na yun? Siguro yun na lang yung biyernes yun lang yung biyernes na pwede kong masabi ngayon. Ayun.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing.
I think we have Anita again. Wait, let me try. Okay. Hello!
Wala naman siyang sound.
Welcome back. We'll continue. At least there's a visual siya, but let's continue with either Mrs. Tan or Samael.
Do you have a Friday story?
Friday eh.
Ako rin, I think Friday, di ako sure kung Friday to, pero nung college, I had a friend na, they turned 18. So we went, they went drinking. We went drinking. And yung plano niya was to have 18 shots. Because she turned 18.
Okay.
And it was I fell asleep because I got kind of drunk. But when I woke up, nakita ko she was super collapsed and alam mo yung drunk na kailangan ng wheelchair. Yeah. Well, wala namang wheelchair, so basically her boyfriend had to carry her out talaga because she was just passed out drunk. She didn't even reach 18 shots. I think she stopped at 13. And she just passed out.
Well, responsible drinking is always a plus and better with friends you can trust.
Wow, that rhymed. Good job.
Good job.
Well, ako kasi, you know this, when I used to go to Malate, I used to go alone. And I had to really learn my limitations. Kasi nga, since mag-isa ako pupunta, I had to make sure kaya kong umuwi. And that's when, through trial and error, na-realize ko na kaya ko ang 18 shots ng tequila or kaya ko yung 16 bottles of beer kasi may halong tequila yun. So medyo natimpla ko yun dati.
Ganda kami kasi.
But eventually, bumagsak na yung resistance ko. Na-train yata ako ni Rupert din. So,
lahat ata tayo na-train ni Rupert.
Actually, kahit kami performer, di ba, sa stage, pag inaabutan ka, wala kang tanggi dapat, di ba?
Oo, lahat
Walang
yan.
straight up tequila shot, tapos habang nagpe-perform, so syempre performer ka, pag uminom ka ng tequila, kailangan perform ka pa rin. Paano ka makakapag-perform? Ang init-init ng lalamunan mo.
Buti nga nag-switch sa Casadores kaysa sa
Reklamo ka,
Forever.
Tori?
Wala. Ako nga ang brand ambassador ng Casadores. Ano ba?
Diba? But sa totoo lang, ang mas swabe yung Casadores.
yes, actually.
Compared to yung Cuervo.
Yung Cuervo, medyo, parang, tapos go. Yung Casadores, go lang
I think I have many photos and videos, mga queens mid-performance na lahat ganon. And then the shot.
The sign of the cross before the shot.
The sign of the cross. Ay, nako.
Pero bilang brand ambassador ng Casadores, masarap po yun.
Masarap talaga siya.
Kiniklaim ko na agad ako brand ambassador.
I support this claim. Kailangan matotoo yan. We're all together again. Okay. What's next though? Because I think the crazier the Friday, the less we remember. So,
which means it must have been a good Friday. Oh, diba? A good Friday. Ganda na segue ko, diba? Okay. So we'll do something which na-try na ni Mrs. Tan at ni Turing at hindi pa na-try ni Queen Anita at ni Samael.
Okay, at least not on the show, yeah.
So this is our word association. So we'll start with Anita habang may signal siya. Anita, I will give you a word and I want you to respond with the first word you think of related to that word. And then we'll go through a number of words, okay?
Rated SPG po ba tong show na to?
As much as possible. Hi, Patricia. I hope you're doing well in school.
Good baby girl.
Thank you so much for your support, Patricia. And someday we will see you all in face-to-face and watching a show together. Yes. But for now, Anita, are you ready for your word association questions?
Shoot.
Your first word is fabulous.
Me.
Legacy.
Hindi pa ako naghanga.
Natakot ako for a moment, pero na itong gumala yung mata mo.
Akala ko rin naghang. Legacy.
Legacy.
One word.
Tony Mabesa.
Okay. Courage.
My parents.
Voice.
My mom.
And your last word for now is stage.
Obar.
Thank you for sharing. Samael, are you ready for your 5 words?
Yo.
Okay, we shall start with beauty.
I wish.
Yun na ba yung word? No?
Yeah. I guess yun yung word. Emotion.
Anxiety.
Fire.
What was it called? Fire Festival.
Death.
Inevitable.
And your last word for now is wet.
I can't say the word.
Mimi, I can say.
Wet ass.
Me, I can
Thank you
say.
so much. Thank you so much for participating in a short, brief moment of word association. Our next small activity now is brought to us, and no, this is not a sponsored moment, by the game called Hugot. It is a local game by our friend Thomas Regala, who is of the TEGR. And
Epic Gaming Regiment.
Yeah, and we shall ask you a few Hugot questions that normally in the game, there are questions and then there are objects to use. Do you want to still use the object?
No, it won't make sense. But if ever, I mean, like, the objects are as basic as parang, hindi kita, pero parang birthday or cadena or whatever. But then there are like, basically it's just, yung lahat ng phrases, hugutin ang blank. So,
yeah. So, ano dyan is you can just mention an object in relation to the question and then explain why. So, for example, if the question is, ilarawan ang iyong first love. And let's say ako, if I were doing this game, ang answer ko dyan ay halo-halo. Kasi patikim-tikim yung iba parang hindi masarap. So, ganun yung approach. We'll answer the question with an object and then explain nyo kung bakit yun yung object for that answer.
Okay.
And it could be it can be just concepts.
Yeah.
So like may examples ng terms is like gunting, sile, cuchillo, pintura, yellow. So it's super random.
Okay? So, we can always start with whoever's ready.
Yes.
May premyo po ba to? Pag magaling humugot?
Ako
Well,
na, habang may
satisfaction.
internet pa ako.
well, may shinare na kami kay Turing na initial share, pero
Yes.
we'll see kung dadagdag pa yon, depende sa show.
Ganyan. May pricing.
For example, sige, random question, i-test muna natin kay Rocky.
Why?
Rocky, anong ibibigay mo sa tropang may pinagdadaanan?
I don't know. Tequila.
Kasi,
So you have something else to do.
okay,
Sorry. Wala akong ano.
Sa akin
okay.
kape.
You want to choose for them?
Okay, but will you read? Because, ish Tagalog. I'm very good.
You can read it. Kaya mo yan.
Silently. And I will just telepathically communicate.
Sige, you'll choose na lang who and I'll read. Okay, so our first question is, oh my God, ang sakit na ito. Ilarawan ng iyong sahod/baon. Okay, go Anita.
Kailangan ba bagay or pwedeng tao?
Ikaw, basta explain mo after.
Ilarawan ng iyong sahod. Jowa. Akala mo nandyan pero wala.
Nice one.
Okay. Setting the bar.
Next new question or may mag-share pa ng answer?
Ako.
Next question? Go, Turing.
Coke. 0. Sarado pa rin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next question.
Ay, wait lang po. Kasi,
Ah.
bigyan niyo po ako ng chance. Kasi binubunot po ako dun sa comment section. Hindi ko pa pala sila nawabate. Hi, AnTuTan Ma'am. Hi, Noel. Binubunot na ako dun.
Oo, kanina pa si Noel.
Hello.
Okay, our question is, ilarawan ng iyong first love. Go.
Sige.
Hugot ko yun talaga.
Go, Anita.
COVID.
Oh, bakit COVID?
Sana hindi na nangyari.
Oh.
Love it.
Oh my God.
Any other
Ako
answers?
Go.
COVID response ng government. Sana
Kasi-
may nangyari.
Ay.
Sana lang eh. Carry siya eh. Pero yung carry siya eh.
Ayan, nagiging political na si Tan.
That's fine.
Then let's move to the next question. Ang pagbe-break up ay parang blank. Go, Anita.
Best in recitation.
Habang may signal pa, go.
Ang pagbilang traffic,
Bakit?
nakakasanayan din.
Ang ina ni Anita, hugot na hugot dahil.
Calling out once again to all our viewers, magbigay naman kayo ng tip.
Also, if you have questions, tanong lang kayo dyan.
Yeah. We're just
Bumabawi ako
keeping
more
it
than
light.
1 hour ako nawala eh.
Bumabawi.
Ako po.
Sige, Miss
Go.
Tan.
Ang pagbibigay ay parang pagtae. Minsan tibe, minsan tuloy-tuloy lang. Depende talaga sa sitwasyon niyan.
Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry.
Di ba?
Natawa ako sa binabunot kong next question. Hindi yata siya nababasa, no?
Hindi po.
Oh my God, hugutin natin ang gobyerno.
Hugutin natin ang gobyerno.
Sabi na, pass.
Pass!
Charot. Siyempre hindi tayo magpapass.
Ano mga hugutin natin ang gobyerno?
Ang lugaw ay essential. Kasi pagkain siya. Yun lang.
Siguro yung Makita's treasure.
Wait lang, hindi
Asan?
ko na-get story.
Hugutin ng gobyerno para siyang para mo siyang ilalarawan tapos bibigyan mo siya ng something.
Same game. It's just that mas diretso yung phrasing. Thomas kasi.
Parang plastic. Artificial, hindi totoo. Malabo.
Fair.
Okay. Ilarawan ng pag-move on.
Oh.
Parang pagbabasa ng libro.
Kasi?
Parang pagbabasa ng libro, sa una, ay pagbabasa ng librong malungkot. Sa una, iyak ka ng iyak, pero pag binasa mo ng binasa, mawawala na rin yung luha. Yun lang yun.
Nice.
Karen Ang, yes po, na-receive ko po. Thank you po.
Thank you po sa mga
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Rachel Patricia pala sumagot din sa pagbe-break up. Parang baso, pag nabasag, nakakasugat at sobrang sakit. Wow. Medyo intense, ha?
Hindi naman. Hindi kaya masakit. Di ba, Tan?
Huh? I don't wanna remember. Zoom calls, I don't wanna remember.
Okay, last hugot question for the night.
Ay, wait. I have an answer for that.
Go.
Go.
Yung like, parang like, move on, no?
Yes, mag-move on.
Parang alcohol.
Oh, kasi?
Di ko pa maalala.
Oh!
Nice.
Okay. And then last one.
Our last one is, ang pinakamasakit na zone ay ang blank zone.
Okay.
Nanay zone.
Nanay zone.
Nanay zone. Mami Anita, nandiyan ka pa ba, Mami? Mami, nandiyan ka pa ba?
In fairness, screenshot worthy na naman ang post ni Anita.
Di ba? Ganun
Post
tayo
niya,
lahat,
ano?
Madali lahat.
Ay, sayang.
wala.
Nag-cut yung page.
Ano?
Anyway,
Sis zone.
Safe zone. Scene zone.
Sis.
Sis zone.
Sis zone.
Oo.
Kasi,
Yung inaaurahan mo, tapos nagpapakit ka na, ang cute mo naman. Kasi ang gwapo niya. Ang reply sa'yo, thank you, sis.
Pwede yung drag mom zone.
Oo, thank you, ma.
Pwede ka bang Wiz, sasabihin mo, ang pogi mo. Ang tanong sa'yo, pwede ka bang maging drag mom? Kabog. Try.
Noel also shares cake. Is essential din daw. Ha, ha, ha.
Oo naman, kanin yun eh. Nakakaya naman kay tatay.
Ikaw, do you have an answer? Ang pinakamasakit or...
So, I'm really bad at this game, you know.
Ako rin, I'm very bad at this
I'm
game.
super bad at this game.
Same.
Ay, nako.
Si Anita to eh. Kay game to ni Anita eh. Hindi kasi kami
Yun nga
alam.
eh. Nakikita kong nakakatakot na ano eh. If we bring it to O one time later in the future, it's like, oh my God. I know na.
So let's go back to more slumbook questions while
Okay.
we're waiting for our Queen Anita to return. But this time I'll start with Mrs. Stan.
But Hugot, everyone, for the future.
Available in National Bookstore, and you can also purchase it online through Facebook. Kaya ano mismo.
Hanapin siya.
And Ludus.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Mrs. Stan, my question to you is, what were you most afraid of as a child? And are you still afraid of that today?
What am I most afraid of as a child?
And are you still afraid of it today?
Nung bata ako, wala akong takot eh. Nung lumaki lang ako sa kaka, nagkaroon ng takot. Wala akong konsepto ng takot before. Tapos na-realize ko lang na may takot pala ako sa needles, na matusok and everything. Pero, hindi ko alam kung bakit. Hindi ko din, ewan ko, takot lang ako na tusukin. Takot ako masaktan.
Pero nung bata ka, wala ka namang memories na may injections or stuff? Or meron na wala kang pakialam?
Wala naman. Feeling ko yung pinakatakot ko lang before is wala talaga. Na-realize ko wala.
Samel, same question?
Practically everything, honestly. Like, ang daming cockroaches, rats, lizards, heights. Actually, like heights are weird because like I'm afraid of heights, but I love roller coasters. So
and you live in a penthouse.
Yeah, it's sobrang nakakatakot na nga. Like I remember like one day I was just like I decided to look down and like I was like, tangina, hindi ko kaya. So yun.
Queen Anita, are you back with us?
Yes, I'm here po.
Yan. So ikaw po, what were you so afraid of as a child, and are you still afraid of it now?
Wala akong tangible things na naalala kinakatakutan ko when I was a child, but there is one particular feeling that I clearly remember. I was very afraid to be judged. And am I still afraid of it? No, definitely not anymore. I mean, I don't really give a shit anymore.
Thank you.
And that's something that you overcome through the years.
True.
Very true, very true. Turing, would you like to share yours?
Ako, may mga mabababaw, like yung needles, ayun, takot ako dati, pero nung tumanda ako, hindi naman pala nakakatakot. Tapos ano pa ba? If there is one thing that I remember that I'm scared of when I was a kid, na na-overcome ko na ngayon, yung takot ako ng bata na hindi makapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Tapos nung natapos ako ng pag-aaral, parang sabi ko, hindi naman pala worth it. Charing, hindi. Hindi. Na-overcome ko naman siya actually. Gusto ko pa nga mag-masters eh.
Turing sa gagamba daw.
Yung gagamba, hindi kasi yung gagamba kasi, creepy crawly siya. Kumbaga unexpected sa kwarto mo, kaya ka natatakot. Pero, kaya ko namang i-overcome. Medyo nakakagulat lang talaga kasi, di ba normal tong, kung may gagamba kung pupunta ka ng gubat, makita ka ng gagamba, talagang hindi ka matatakot. Pero yung nasa kwarto ka, 2:00 na madaling araw, nanonood ka ng Netflix sa kama, biglang may tumalong na gagamba sa dingding, kaya matatakot ka na. Ay, yung gagamba, ganito kalaki. Ewan ko lang kung hindi ka matakot.
Oh my God.
Bakit po kumakanta si Noel Abelardo dun sa comment section?
Kumakanta na ba yan? Ay,
I'm not sure. But Noel does share his own fear, which is losing a loved one. Still afraid. Sorry, you're scrolling.
Sorry.
Still afraid of it now more than ever.
That's
Oo
true.
naman,
That's true.
nakakatakot.
Yeah, that's true.
Nowadays pa talaga sobrang hirap na magkasakit.
Oo. Mm-mm.
Which is why we try to focus on other things instead, and we don't worry about that. So I'll
True.
throw the next weird question, which is favorite kakanin.
Ay, meron ako.
Go.
Biko.
Aling klaseng biko? Yung mas maraming toppings or yung simpleng biko lang?
Yung mas maraming toppings. At saka hindi ko alam kung pasok ba doon yung banana cake ni Mish. Charis.
Kakanin nga eh.
Ay, hindi ko alam.
Tinapay yun eh.
Sorry, Mami Mish. Kala ko pasok na eh. Hindi, pero yun yung favorite ko. At saka bibingka. Lagi ako. At saka, yung kasi. At saka oh my God. Yung may latik sa ibabaw, B. Yung may latik sa ibabaw, masarap yun, doy. At saka, yung kasi yung alam ko na may pera sa bahay, like may ani sa bahay pag may bibingka. Pag nag-uwi yung lola ko ng bibingka. So kaya ako tuwan-tuwa pag may bibingka lagi. Para siyang naging ewan ko, may hugot siya, tapos naalala ko yung lola ko pag nakakita ko ng bibingka. So, ay, kamukha ng lola ko in fairness. Kumakatatap yung lola ko bibingka.
Does anyone want to share their other answer?
Favorite
Ako
kakanin.
sapin-sapin.
Sapin-sapin ako. Sapin-sapin.
Of course, sapin-sapin. I love sapin-sapin. And tikoy. Napakasarap ng tikoy.
Yes, tikoy.
Yung
Kakanin ba ang tikoy?
Oo.
Aling
no?
tikoy? Yung tikoy na niluto lang or yung tikoy na naka-roll sa peanut?
Yes, yung nakaroll sa durog na mani.
Mm-mm.
Yun. At saka yung
Ako
sapin-sapin na colorful.
Gusto ko ng palitaw.
Palitaw
Kakain ba
din.
yun?
Yes.
Yes, yung rice na niluluto tapos lilitaw na siya pag luto na.
Actually, wala
Yes,
naman akong lahat gusto ko bilang taga-kaimta rin ako.
Ay, hindi ko alam if you guys know yung nilupak.
Nilupak.
Gusto ko
Ano
lang
yun?
Yung shredded siya na, tama ba? Mamash, ano yun?
Kamoting
Kasaba?
kahoy. Kamoting
Ginaganon,
kahoy.
di ba?
Shredded na kasaba.
Binabayo.
Oo. Shredded na kasaba,
Okay.
tapos may margarine sa Oh,
Yes, gusto ko yun.
Tapos bonding yun ng barkadahan before sa Batangas, te.
sa
Ibig
yung
sabihin,
sa father side ko kasi merong sa father side ko may taga Samar sila. Samar Leyte. Meron silang pag may lumuluwas sa Maynila, yung nasa bao na may masarap. Kalimutan ko. Nasa bao siya, tapos kakanin siya, siya
yung matigas pa to na parang candy, hindi.
Hindi. Nasa bao siya. Tapos masarap
Bigas to?
siya. Tapos sa loob niya may matamis na may matamis sa loob.
Hindi to yung kulangot, no? Yung maliit yun,
Hindi.
eh.
I forgot.
Oo. Hindi mo alam to.
I'm so sorry.
Nasa
weird
from
exposure.
summer yun. Masarap yun.
Kalamay?
Sabi ni Elver Despa, inutak daw.
Hindi siya kalamay eh. Ibang tawag sa
Inutak?
summer eh.
Inutak pa.
Hindi rin nilupa.
Inutak.
Oh my God.
Hindi rin.
Inutak?
Welcome to Baduy Pride, Sapin-Sapin.
Basta yun yun.
Basta yun. Nakalimutan ko na yung term sa summer or sa later. Basta masarap siya na baon.
Samael, anything you'd like to add?
No,
What's your kakanin perspective?
Kasi admittedly, ako, mahilig ako sa mga kakanin. And Rocky's always, ano na naman yung kinakain mo? And I'm like, minsan nadidisappoint ako kasi yung sapin-sapin kulay lang, pero walang flavor. Yung ibang sapin-sapin kasi iba yung lasa kada kulay eh.
Hindi ko pa na-encounter yung iba-iba
Diba? Yung violet ube, yung
May tanong si Patricia sa atin AnTuTan.
Ay,
If you being a hippie in the 70s, are you gonna introduce drag culture to hippie people, especially LGBT hippie?
Na Philippines, I assume.
Interesting question.
Pakiulit,
Patricia's an
pakiulit.
old soul. So I
If
guess
you-
basically it's the 70s, and then will you introduce drag culture to hippie people there, especially if they are LGBT?
Go, Mami Anita.
O
Ayan,
bakit
tama si
ako?
Sir Noel. Binagol. Tama, binagol. Thank you, Sir Noel.
Napapaguwi.
If I was a hippie in the 70s, well,
I think
Siyempre,
I can answer that.
tumingin bigla ka sa
Yeah,
binagol. Okay.
What is yours?
Kasi ang sabi niya, being a hippie in the 70s. So,
May time
kumbaga,
place set tayo.
tayo ay hippies noong 70s. Are you gonna introduce drag culture to hippie people, especially LGBT hippie? Kung if you would if based on what I saw or kung ano yung perception ko ng hippie 70s feeling ko hindi. Kasi
Kasi,
hippies are very carefree people eh. I mean, if you were to tell them something, they would just say, "Yeah, sure, dude, whatever." Kasi they are so happy with their acid, with their joints, and they really
that's
don't
fair.
care. At saka malalim ang ano nila eh. I mean, I could introduce drag culture, but I think ang sasagot lang nila is, "Come on, trip with me, take some pictures." Yun lang yung sabihin nila.
That's fair. I think that's fair. For a very unique question.
Yeah, for kung ang setup ay 70s American hippie, pero kung Philippines, hindi ako masyadong aware sa kultura ng hippies nung 70s dito sa Pilipinas. So, yung setup pala,
kung may,
hindi ko sure.
kung may kultura man sila, martial law nun, Ate Tours.
Yun nga,
Yun nga.
diba? So, I don't think kung Philippine
Kumusta
setup,
ba kayo ng partial me?
Okay naman, buhay pa ako, oh. Okay naman kami naman.
On a side note, ang daming binibigay na vote.
Accidental lang yun.
Palagi, every pour na lang, it's like, whoa. Okay, wala lang.
Na-curious lang po ako, pwede kong matanong si Patricia kung saan lang gagaling ang tanong na yon. Why come up with that very interesting question? Kala mo, Patricia, baka
Sabi yung baby
Yeah.
girl.
Yes. Patricia, do please answer in the comments. But from what we know, she really loves that
She loves
era.
this era, and
Mhm.
but she loves Whitney Houston, and then she loves vinyl records.
Yes. Yeah.
nabasa ko nga
So it's,
kanina eh. Yung Friday,
Mm.
yung experience, yung sagot niya sa Friday, after class daw, pupunta siya sa Cubao Expo, bibili ng vinyl records.
Yun nga eh.
Yes.
Grabe naman
An
yung
old
Cubao Expo
soul.
at saka vinyl
Very old
records.
soul. Mm-mm.
Super artsy naman nun.
So going back to group questions, I'm also conscious of time because it's almost 11.
Yeah.
So paano na lang sa
Yeah.
chat. But for that, Samael, we'll start with you this time.
Mhm.
Would you like to share, if you were given unlimited budget, what would be a show you'd like to do? Parang, sige, you found this patron, ako bahala sa cost, ano yung gusto mong show, gawin natin, i-produce natin.
It's just honestly another another drag show. Just
It's up to you. Do you want to make it a grand show? Do you want to make your own series? Do you want, parang what would be your dream project if you were given the fund?
honestly, I would like to like it more of like publish books. Like
Oh.
more of like especially poetry.
Mm.
Like not just mine, but like get like local, like a lot of like local like poets and stuff, like, or like a spoken word series, like, because like
Yes.
but like I love spoken word talaga, like it's so powerful. So like if you
Mhm.
like kahit mini segments lang, like where like people just share like their like their poetry, like I would love that.
Mhm. Would you be organizing it or would you be one of those performing it?
Why not both?
Ay,
Of course.
why not?
Why not? Let's move on to Queen Anita. Would you like to answer the same question?
Yes po. Ano yung tanong? Sorry.
Unlimited budget. Ano yung magiging project mo? Magkakabonggang show ka ba? Yeah, magtatayo ka ba ng something? Magbubuo ka ba ng series? Whatever.
I would dito na, since I'm speaking as a member of AnTuTan Says, doon na lang, hindi na lang muna ako lalayo sa drag. I would really want to produce or use the money for not necessarily to produce a show or do something, but two things. I want drag to be incorporated at the cultural center.
Oh, wow.
Kasabay nun is an artist welfare organization which focuses on drag artists alone.
That's nice. That's powerful. I mean, like, I feel like, especially especially in the early onsets of the pandemic, then we see a lot of like parang actors guilds and ganyan in the US putting up particular YouTube benefit events. Then I was thinking like same thing, parang what do we have here like on that same scale?
Yes.
So that could be something very interesting to set up.
True. And then we have to face it. We are in the Philippines. We keep on saying that drag is art, drag is a form of art, drag is an expression. But not here in the Philippines, not unless you are recognized by the Cultural Center or the NCCA, you are not art. Let's face it.
That's true.
I mean, you are not
That's
art
true.
in the face, in the mind, in the ears of normal Filipino people who are ignorant about it.
I feel the same
So
way when people are like you want to get married. When people ask us if we want to get married, and then like, why don't you get married in another country? And when I get back here, wala din. Parang we have to go with what is official here. So if it's not, then parang what's the
that
point?
is really sad. That's really sad reality.
Yeah.
But andyan na yan eh. So let's just do something about it in our little way. So yun lang naman ang naisip ko. For us to be able to be acknowledged as an art, at least in the eyes of a number of Filipino people, why not bring drag at the cultural center?
Doreen, Mrs. Tan, would you like to share your answer?
Your unlimited budget project.
Given a limited budget, syempre tutuparin ko na yung magkaroon ng dance studio. Matagal ko ng pangarap yung bata pa lang. And kasi ang project na gusto kong gawin kapag kasi I always tell this for kung sino man nagtatanong kung anong pangarap ko, ang pangarap ko magkaroon ng dance studio. Kasi ang project ko lagi is I'm gonna make it as a business in the morning, and then in the evening I'm gonna open a certain time to those street children or street people na yung mga dancers na sa kalsada nagre-rehearse. Kasi gusto ko bigyan sila ng oportunidad para makita yung sarili nila, maayos yung pagpa-perform nila. So sa harap ng salamin, maayos na yung linya nila, and then sheltered sila, hindi sila mag-iisip na baka may kumarukos na sasakyan. Kasi bilang Menjola girl ako, sa Menjola ako nag-aral, tuwing gabi talaga, yung buong Menjola, punong-puno ng mga nagpa-perform, nag-rehearse ng mga dancers. As in, promise, parang may party. Puro mga dancers. So, yun yung akin, college.
Oh no. Baka napindot. But while we're waiting for
pala yung
Turing to
feeling
come
na isa
back.
ako sa naiwan.
Ayan. Welcome, Turing, come back. We summon you. Welcome back. Briefly lang, Turing, just acknowledging and saying hello to Mon and Rupert.
Hello.
Thank you for joining the show.
Daddy Rupert.
Okay,
Hi.
tuloy lang, Turing.
So, ayun nga. So, matagal ko ng pangarap magka-dance studio, pero yung proyekto na pagtulong sa mga nagpa-practice sa kalsada na mga grupo, nung college ko siya na-realize. And so yun yung ano ko. And then there's this another project, a limited budget nga, 'di ba? So isang project is, I don't know, I always want to have paano ba? a huge amount of money in my hand every day kasi gusto kong tumutulong sa mga tao. Yung Good Samaritan. Gusto kong tumulong kasi ugali ko 'yun. I mean, hindi naman I'm not lifting my chair pero yung random act of kindness, I always do that every time nung may okay pa yung money ko, okay pa yung sahod, yung money flow natin, may trabaho pa ako. So every off ko, whenever I go to Greenbelt, I always pay someone's Starbucks or I always pay someone's dinner. I always pay someone's food. Tapos there is one time na ayaw hindi ko makakalimutan. Ginol ko na itong araw na to, itong off ko na to sa Greenbelt 3, gusto kong umikot at magbigay ng tulong sa 5 tao. Tapos inabot ako ng 2:00 ng madaling araw. Kasi naghahanap akong tinatawag nating pa-walk. Or yung mga hookers natin sa kalsada. So meron akong napagbigyan ng 2 hookers kasi tinanong ko sila, so, kamusta ka? May kita ka? Wala, hindi pa ako nagdi-dinner eh. Eto sis, meron akong 2 taong binigyan na gano'n. So, eto sis, mag-dinner ka na. So, ayun, kaya, yun yung gusto ko. At saka, ang sarap sa puso kasi, ang sarap sa kaluluwa na tumulong. Magbigay. Yung hindi nila inaasahan. Tapos, pay it forward. Hindi mo ko Tapos whenever someone says thanks to me na babayaran kita, ang lagi sabi, pagdasal mo na lang ako and pay it forward. So ayun. Ayun lang po. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Mrs. Tan?
Unlimited budget. Ang unang pumasok sa isip ko is shelter for LGBTQ plus na youth. Kasi maraming mga bata na walang napupuntahan, mga pinapalayas dahil lang sa beki sila. Or dahil lang pinili nilang pangatawanan yung truth na meron sila sa sarili nila. So, gusto natin ng kanlungan for them. Diba? Yun lang yung yun yung nasa isip ko na, actually, ang sunod ko nga dapat tatanungin, hanggang kailan ba yung unlimited budget na niya? Hanggang kailan
we all can hope.
Budget? Diba?
Oh, yes. But that's so true. I remember coming on Iraqi in our own small way. We had friends who we'd always try to invite them to go with us to Obar on Christmas and New Year.
Yes.
Kasi we knew on those times, hindi sila makaselebrate being themselves. You know, mga parang at home, kailangan there a certain way, hindi sila makaano. So we're like, nako, sama ka na lang sa amin. And normally yung mention pa parang, okay lang ba doon? Kasi baka may makakita sa akin. Ganyan.
That challenge.
And we're always, nako, they're straight friends, they're gay friends, people won't care. People will just have fun. Sama ka na.
Lalo na at our table.
Ang dami yung kasama tuwing Pasko, bagong taon.
Yes.
And a lot of
we
them,
deliberately bring people out.
And a lot of them first time natin ma-meet.
Oh my God. Parang nagiging emotional naman ako doon. Kaya pala, ang dami yung dalang tao minsan.
Yeah. And actually, our weird biggest points is Holy Week.
Yeah.
So, wala kami Holy Week na hindi kami nasa O. And I don't know why, because it's always been like a thing for me since like way malate days na pag Holy Week, it's the perfect time to go out. And then Christmas, New Year. And Christmas, New Year talaga, siya to, binag-aampon yan ng mga
Turuan dami yung mga kasama.
And my private joy is when we realize may sarili na silang mesa.
Yeah, that's always the, pag may sarili isang group na and then they'll see us na hi.
Okay. Kami parang okay na siya. Nahanap na niya tribo niya. Happy na siya.
Yeah.
Okay na tayo.
That is
so yun yung
nice.
mga namin. So I totally agree with that. Kung magkaroon ng shelter, magkaroon ng that's
I've always wondered about that. Like when you go like yung mga there's the LGBT centers in the US. And then like how do these things get maintained? How come we don't have them here? So,
pero yung yung shelter sana na bayad na, yung hindi nirerentahan. Para
exactly.
Yes.
Diba? Kasi baka pati renta sakit pa din ang ulo. Para ang poproblemahin ng kuryente, supplies.
So we have to keep going until one of us becomes one of the billionaires. And then pwede na natin itayo yun for the people
Tsaka
who will
ano,
come after us.
We have a clear
May-
vision. Okay.
Tsaka,
Okay,
ang
next
sad lang kasi
question.
nung
Sige,
ano,
go on.
Ang sad lang nung mga, hindi kasi parang halimbawa, may mga nakikita ko na halimbawa, pag magsusuba ka sa labas ng parking lot, yung mga street children, parang pag tinatanong mo sila, pag nakikipag-usap ka sa kanila, marirealize mo na ang swerte mo technically kasi meron ka pa ring bubong sa ilalim ng, bubong pa rin sa ibabaw ng ulo mo.
Di pagkain
Kasi sila, hirap sila eh. As in, ang hirap nung kanila na parang, bakit ka ba ganito? Bakit ganyan? Bakit namamalimos ka? At sabi, nag-iipon kasi ako para sa damit ko. Tapos parang,
Tan, you remember, nung after ng photoshoot natin, nasa Tomas Morato tayo tumambay, may grupo ng baklang nagtitinda ng sampagita. Alam mo yun? So, ano ko yun, nakaka-relate ako kay Tan. Kasi kasama kami noon, na after ng photoshoot namin, nasa Tomas Morato kami, umiinom, may lumapit na grupo ng mga bakla. Mga teenagers na sila ha, mga 15, 16, 17, 18. Tapos nagbebenta sila ng sampagita. Tapos in-interview ni Mrs. Tan.
Di ba hindi kasi talaga ako makapag-usap sa mga ganun? Lalo na pag ewan ko, pag wala naman akong ginagawa, sa balang ako, ganyan. So, iba yung ano. At saka, ang dami kong natututunan sa kanila na parang, di ba mahilig tayo, ako personally, mahilig ako mag-self-pity. Minsan hobby ko yon. Pero parang, nare-realize ko, kailangan kong umalis kasi may kailangan akong tulungan ng mga tao in the future. Kaya kailangan natin magsipag.
True.
Diba? Sabi ni Elvira, yung mga nasa Parisan Mrs. Tanong, totoo yan. Hindi kasi naging ganyan kaming encounter ni Elvira B. Kaming dalawa, nagsuba kami. Parang, yung mga nasa Parisan, sila yung mga batang sinasabi ko ngayon na, as in, nag-iipon sila ng pera para makabili ng damit, para may pangkain, para may pangkeme, tapos parang, alam mo yun, naghahanap sila ng trabaho, pero nahihirapan sila. So parang, nasa isip ko is, it's not really them na hindi talaga nagsisipag or hindi talaga nagsusumikap. But rather, the opportunities are really scarce for them.
True.
Yeah.
And we need to provide more opportunities.
There are systemic limitations. And
yes.
And then I already feel weird when I bring up the systemic on a Friday night. So, sige. I'll leave it at that. So, okay. And then, sorry. Next, we're done with our Mega Million projects.
Yes.
Para tayo nag-juggle.
Sorry, may pinadala lang akong question kay Turing sa separate chat kasi medyo kinakabahan ako kung nagloko yung bangko.
Okay.
Pasilip na lang Turing when you can. Kasi dun sa isa ko nakasulat nag-work yung transaction, sa kabila wala. So parang wait lang.
Okay.
So sa ibang tao ko ba napadala? Okay. Next question is and this one has the possibility of being heavy, so please feel free to say pasa ko dyan. But in many ways, we are always now challenged with we are all fighting against fear. It's fear of what will be, what is to come. It is fear of what tomorrow will be like. It's fear of how things are being managed. But there's also the other fears, which are fears we've embraced. Whether it's because you're being a pioneer, you're doing something no one else is doing, or because you're being brave because no one else is willing to be the one to step forward. You're being there for those who don't have the voice, or you're being there for those who aren't ready yet to be themselves. What are your techniques or strategies in dealing with fear? And I guess you could say na rin parang maybe it's something that you feel you do and or normally everyone does it. But I always believe that there are things we can learn from each other. Kasi there might be people who never thought, pwede ko rin gawin yun.
Wait, I just wanna cut this. Daddy Mon has an amazing comment.
Okay.
Actually, ito yan.
Sana pag Pride, mag-launch ng malaking fundraiser para sa idea mo, Mrs. Tan.
Ay.
Kailangan lang naman niya ng organization na mag-handle. So sana may organization na well-funded, 'di ba? Na makaisip ng ganon. Tapos yun yung una i-push through. Ano na isang bahay, kanlungan for these kids. Kawawa eh, 'di ba? Paano? At saka imagine mo, may ang dami kong kakilala na natatakot mag-out kasi natatakot sila mapalayas tapos wala sila pupunta.
Yeah.
I think we've all encountered our fair share of not just natakot or yung worst case yung pinalayas talaga. And then,
diba?
Then they end up staying with place to place. Okay.
So ayaw natin yon. So yun. Kung paano yung pag-overcome sa fears.
Yes.
Feeling ko depende dun sa degree ng fear na meron kasi certain thing. Kasi parang it also, yung fears kasi ang ang kapatid niyan ay si doubts. 'Di ba?
Yes.
Kasama yan. Magkapatid sila, halos twins sila. So, ang una kong ginagawa is titigan muna siya. Gusto ko yung titigan muna siya. Or namnamin yung nararamdaman. Tapos after nun, to find your support group to really talk about that certain fear na meron ka. Kasi may mga fears kasi na kaya mong ikaw lang. May mga fears na kailangan mo talaga na may malabasan ng feeling mo para dun sa isang certain kemerut, di ba? Gusto ko yung very cryptic yung pagkakasabi ko. So yon. Pwede yon na you talk about it and you continue to talk about it until it becomes normal and less fearful.
Thank you for sharing.
How about you, Samael?
For me, it's usually therapy. Kasi like I have a therapist na I meet like every so often. And like it helps talaga to talk about it kasi like it's important to have like different like groups of like social groupings like for like how you can talk to people like about these kinds of things kasi there's a lot of processing involved with fears. Like right now like I'm actually like really scared for like a couple of people I know, right? Like but like I just really sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's fine.
We can move on to muna if you need a
moment.
No, I'm okay. It's just like there are a lot of problems going on right now, and I feel like it's really important to be a community.
Yes.
Like to be there for each other, especially like as best as we can. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then I feel like, that's also sort of why we do this show.
Yes.
I mean, like we're obviously not, we're not exactly a huge production with amazing
We don't have
reach.
a following.
We have a small following, and I appreciate the small, dedicated following that shows up. And in many cases, we feel that it's a bit of a safe space for ourselves, despite everything going on. I mean, yeah. So it's that sense of community, whether it's just your circle of friends or people in your industry or whatever. Then you pull together in difficult times, and you are stronger together. So, yeah. Okay.
And Karen shares safe space ang Baduy Pride.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. Anita, your thoughts on how you face fears?
Ina-enjoy ko yung internet connection, sorry. Ayun.
Yes.
Siguro karamihan sasagutin yan in the most cliche manner possible. Pero let's be technical about it na lang siguro. How do you manage fear? That's the briefest possible way na maano yung question mo, Toby, no? How do you manage fear? siguro you start by simply analyzing and understanding what that fear is. Himay-himayin mo siya kung bakit ka takot, kung bakit ganyan. And then eventually, pag naintindihan mo na kung ano siya, then you face it. It's basically just starting to know and realize the fear itself. And then you will know why you're fearing it. And then after a while, you'll soon, I think unconsciously, you'll soon realize na you're starting to face na your fears and overcome it. Sana, di ba?
Hanapin ang ugat
Kaya
para
ako
alam
naman-
ko rin ang pupulutin.
True. Ako naman, I've always believed na lahat ng fears na overcome. Just proper tama, yung pagmamanage, yung pag-handle, pagkilala, and pagharap. If maayos yun, and then you will overcome it.
Shinare ni Mon, fears ni Anita kami.
Actually, sila yung number one. Hindi mo na-overcome ko, in-analyze ko. Pinake ko.
You face them, you know them, ayan. How about you,
So,
Terry?
ayan. Naman sabi ni Sermon sila ang fears ko. Merong merong mga positive fears, actually. Which will help you become a better person.
Nako, kung positive nga yan, nandiyan po ang ating GCash, PayPal at saka BDO.
Yes.
I-flash nga natin yan.
Napili mo naman, Mrs. Tan, Sermon, nandyan po ang aming GCash, PayPal at BDO.
Sermon,
Yes, my gosh.
Namaru. Andyan yung natin, GCash, PayPal at saka BDO. Lahat po sa pangalan po ni Ate Turing, John Arthur Quinto. Kayang-kaya nyo po yan. Nako, nag-expect po kami. Kasi po, natatakot din kami na wala din kaming ma-receive na tips ngayon. Pero thank you very much sa mga nagpaalog na kanina.
True. Thank you so much po sa mga nag-tip.
How about you, Turing?
How do I manage fear? Totoo yung sinabi ni Mom's Anita. Kailangan mo muna i-recognize yun eh. Kasi pag hindi mo na-recognize, wala, nandyan lang siya. Mananatili lang siya dyan. So, first, you have to recognize it. And once you recognize, magtitip ang daddies!
Thank you!
Thank you, Daddy Mon. Thank you, Daddy Rupert. So, ayun nga, going back. First, you have to recognize your fear. And once you recognize it, you start from there.
Yes.
Kailangan mo siyang, pag na-recognize mo na siya, ako nang tanong, bakit? Bakit ka natatakot? Tapos, pag nasagot mo na yung tanong na bakit, so ano na? For me, pag nasagot mo yung tanong na bakit, pag na-recognize mo na siya, bakit ka natatakot? Tapos, pag nasagot mo yung bakit ka natatakot, ang next done is, so ano na? Meaning, so anong dapat gawin? So, ayun. I think yun lang yung for me.
Okay. Siyempre ako, I'm still medyo napaisip ako tuloy some of the fears.
I like the concept ng positive fear, although it always reminds me of stuff like my mom has always inculcated na it's things like when it comes to like moments of public speaking, performance, and ganyan, and or of course her normal example was, or like for a test, and then if you're not nervous, if you're not anxious,
you're not ready for it.
No, when you're anxious for her, it means you care about the result.
Yes.
You care about the end. And so that's why some fears and some anxieties can still be helpful in that sense, because you're invested in the outcome. And it's not you still care. And that is a start to see it through.
And I think that also progresses when it comes to performing, because if you're not nervous about your upcoming performance, then you're already seeing it as rote. You're just going to do something you've always done.
Yeah.
But if you're nervous, it's because you're going to try something different, or you're challenging yourself, or kasi you can do better pa. Yeah. So it's a healthy fear. And,
there's this one saying na sinasabi nung mentor ko nung college, si Sir D, kaibigan ni Anita. Sabi niya, bago ka tumutong entablado, kailangan mo muna i-check yung sarili mo kung meron ka bang kaba. Kasi pag wala kang kaba, panigurado, wala kang gasolina. Kasi yung gasolina, yung kaba na yon, magiging gasolina yon, magiging pag tumungtong ka ng stage, magiging adrenaline rush siya. So, ayun. Yun lang.
Pero diba, it's a healthy amount of fear. Although, it's like, it's just that she applied it to like everything. So like, you need to be nervous before a test. All these things. Anyway, we can move on.
So as we're nearing 11:30, which I'm keeping that in mind as a possible cutoff point. Kasi syempre, it's still a Friday at baka may plans bago mag-midnight. Kanina pa nagka-quack si Doc. So,
because we're all gonna go out, obviously, you know.
So, I just like to ask, and this is slightly humorous but also slightly serious. As mentioned nga kanina sa beginnings, AnTuTan, and then nag-evolve to AnTuTan Says.
Ay,
So, nabubuo pa ba to? Magiging buong sentence ba to later on? Na AnTuTan Says, don't go out kasi dumagdag si don't, si Hugot, tsaka si out.
Yeah, thank you, Daddy Mon! Thank you, Daddy Mon! Oh my God!
Oh my God.
Thank you, Mon. Thank you, Rupert. And again, to everyone, all the tips will go to our drag artists. Rocky and I are just happy to help, give them a platform.
Yes.
And help spread the word and their passion for drag. So, going back to the question, do you see AnTuTan Says growing to even a larger family? And an added question to that, pag may umalis ba, babago ba yung pangalan?
Ooh.
Ako ang sasagot dun sa pag may umalis. Bilang ako yung, every kasi AnTuTan, pag may mag-guest, ako ang binubunot na bilang pangalan ko yung nasa dulo. #Mrs. Tan Eviction Night every single time. So it's bound to happen. So it's bound to happen.
Yeah, diba? But that's a question.
Feeling ko mas, mas lalaki pa yung pamilya. Tingnan natin, only time will tell. Diba?
Okay.
Kung ano yung mga mangyayari. Pero, ako personally, I'm very positive na kung hindi man siya lumaki, kung magstay as is siya, for me, it's fine. It's completely fine. Kasi, yung AnTuTan fam, kasi we've found comfort from each other Iba yung nadadala nun. So parang, what I'm expecting in the future is closer bonds and tighter relationships from each other. And always having each other's back. Every single time. And that's what matters to me the most as of the moment. To have this kind of family na when you're in doubt, you just, go to them and say na, guys, parang I'm doubting myself as of the moment. Wait lang. Bakit? Ayun, may mga ganun kang kasama na mag-process ng certain things. And to share your little victories. To share yung mga nararamdaman mo freely without the fear of being judged. For me, that's what's important. And that's what AnTuTan Says had built. And we currently have that in our family. And yun yung ko I mean, personally yun yung proud kami na AnTuTan Says na it's more than a show. It's a family.
It's a family.
Absolutely.
True.
Does anyone want to add to that?
Ako, I have this, parang nag-freeze si Anita. Ayan. Ako, I have this, ewan ko, minsan, parang paano ba? Ang hirap pa-explain. Okay lang na dumami kami, pero parang in a way, sa isang banda, sabi rin ng sarili ko, okay na kaming apat happy na kaming apat. Alam mo yung gusto kong ipagdamot tong tatlong to, kasi mahal na mahal ko to. So, in as much as I want AnTuTan Says to go bigger, I also want, sa isang side, gusto kong apat lang kami. And then kung may dadagdag man, siguro special guest na lang or something, or maging laging guest. Pero kasi masyado na kaming paano ba, masyado nang malalim yung pinagsamahan naming apat and together with the AnTuTan family. So parang for me, sabi nga ni Mrs. Tan, gusto ko kami muna. Alam mo yon, gusto ko munang enclose, gusto ko muna encapsulate yung buong AnTuTan fam na kami muna. Gusto ko muna enjoy sila. Ayun.
Sorry. Go on. Thank you. Sorry,
Anyone
nasalad
else?
ako.
Somebody else? What do you
Um,
think? As the says at the end.
what what I say goes. That's what ano. Pero I honestly don't know. Like yung sinabi ni like Mrs. Tan na we don't know what the future holds. So like maybe it'll grow, maybe it won't. But like what matters is like appreciating what we have now. So like that's
True.
my perspective on that. So
Anita?
Ayun, siguro pagsamahin ko na lang yung sinabi ni Turing, ni Tan, tsaka ni Samael. I as of the moment siguro I don't say it na may madadagdag. Simply because hindi mag-work we AnTuTan Says na buo for out of bond. So siguro baka ma-OP lang yung dadagdag. And hindi kasi naging ganun yung way namin of generating and regeneration. Like hindi dinagdag sa pangalan namin. We were able to produce and help out other baby drag queens to produce their own shows through our help and support. Like we have Elvira B, we have BBC, and we have another baby drag daughter, si Peppa, and some others we help along the way. Na hindi naman kailangan na, and ginagas din namin sa ibang mga episodes namin. Hindi naman namin kailangan mag bring in ng isa pang tao. We could help out produce other shows kasi kaya na nila.
Yeah.
And tama rin naman yung sinabi ni Turing. Kasi for one, let me just share this, that we were given an offer before, I think that was in December, to help us market out AnTuTan Says. We indirectly declined the offer simply because we thought of during that time, and hanggang ngayon naman, I think ganun pa rin naman ang stand namin, we really didn't want to contaminate the group, the samahan. Naisip kasi namin na baka kasi pag na-commercialize siya or na-market siya in certain ways, baka ma-contaminate kami. Mawala yung bond, which is nagiging fuel namin every day, every week to keep going, to produce shows like what we are doing. So yun, I think yun yung doon nanggagaling si Turing, kaya niya nasabi yun, is we are really afraid to lose whatever we have just because of a single move naman, na ikakaputi rin naman. Pero I think sa ngayon kasi okay kami as it is. Na kung may, sabi naman nga ni Tan, along the way, kung may mga, if it's bound to happen kasi it will happen.
Yeah.
But we're just so happy right now. We're content of us being genuine, help na nakakatulong sa isa't isa, nakakahila pataas sa isa't isa. I think yun naman kasi ang purpose talaga ng AnTuTan. Well, aside from being called the ASAP of drag, yun naman doon kasi nanggagaling kung bakit kami ganito, kung bakit natatranscend namin yung samahan sa ibang tao.
Yes.
And I get that. I mean, the same thing with like Baduy Pride. And like early on, because a lot of our initial content was like our geekier stuff, and then we had some friends in the board game industry. They were already offering like if we give you like promo codes and ganyan, then if we can talk about like the games they carry. But then like, we just want to talk about what we want to talk about. And then I don't know, and I can't promise everything will be favorable. So parang we declined muna, and then like, if we happen to talk about stuff you like, then you can reshare. But then if not, we're not yet there it's still an output
There's
also
a
for
difference
us.
kasi in doing something because you just love doing it. And doing something kasi trabaho. Kailangan mo nang gawin sa araw na to.
Yeah.
And it's not that one is better than the other. It's just that baka what you're doing, you don't want it to be there yet.
Yes.
Diba? So, and I think what also connects to this is yung na-mention earlier in the show, which is the wavelength matters. Kasi for all you know, may ma-meet kayo, tapos nag-connect na naman sa inyong lahat kahit hindi nyo na-expect.
Yeah. Then maybe it'll work out.
Oo, baka doon nalilitaw yung next word or next syllable.
Yes.
Syllable to this brand.
Could be,
Baka si Candy Muse yun. So magiging so yung start ng name niya, yung start so magiging AnTuTan Says na. Diba? Kasi Candy.
Wow. The only good way to bring up Candy Muse. No, I'm kidding. Sige, I know time is tight for some, but I think what I was thinking about this last discussion. We don't have to close, but at the very least, I know some may have to leave. But
okay,
we can see how that goes because depending on people. But so given this, and I know like indirectly we saw this progression for AnTuTan in the earlier parts of the pandemic. Because initially it was a bunch of solo live shows. And then maya parang, nagsama na si ganyan. May show sila pa together. And then this one's so slowly codified na naging AnTuTan. So tatlo na sila. And then may Says na. So apat na sila. And then became a regular thing. So now, it's 2021. And like, if you were to take this show on the road, outside of COVID and all that, then what is AnTuTan Says? Like as a brand, as a show, what's the pitch? How would you differentiate what it is that you guys do versus like everything else? And it's not a competition comparison, but just what makes your performances or
what makes it an AnTuTan Says show?
Yeah. What defines that brand for you?
Wait lang, natawa lang ako sa comment sections. May bago na daw group.
Nakikita ko nga din eh.
Nakikita ko nga rin yung isang group na nag-perform dyan eh. Ang masasabi ko lang sa kanila, well, Borano, we'll expect to see your show.
Ay.
Baka all talk lang kayo pero walang show.
Nanonood tayo niya ng Borano.
Of course.
Pagtitipa ko dyan.
Baka mamaya OnlyFans pa yan.
Okay. So yeah. So
it's merely what separates AnTuTan from the rest.
Yeah, like what's the AnTuTan brand? If you were to explain it to someone who hasn't seen one of your shows before. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Anita. Before you start, Samael says Kant will have to go ahead. So we want to express our thanks.
Yeah.
We are very honored. We're very humbled to have you on our small show. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope to have you here again in the future.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you talaga for having us. Like it really means a lot. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to try to answer the last question before you go? Like, how do you describe AnTuTan Says?
I think because like the strength is we all have like our own flavor of like performance, and like wala lang, like I think the best way to describe it because it's just like a family of people having fun together.
Yes.
Like for me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you so much for being on our show. If you want, you can mention your socials now. If not, it's okay. I'm sure the others will also mention it later.
Oh,
but thank you so much.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Samael_says. So, yeah. And I have my video game streaming page, Samael Streams.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, let's talk more about that in the future. But quick lang. Can you, muna everyone else, para may close-up naman ni Samael, para makita ng lahat yung kanyang look for today. So, mo muna yung camera.
Yes.
Yeah! Para makita naman. Kasi sayang, ang lit ng monitors eh.
That's true. Yeah. Hello.
And so, screenshot for huling hirit. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on our show.
Yeah.
Bye,
We'll be in
baby
touch.
boy.
Mwah, mwah.
Love
Bye,
you,
baby
baby
boy. Love
boy.
you.
Love you. Love you. I have a tattoo session at 7 a.m. because I have to sleep now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Of
Yes.
course.
Be careful, ha.
Yes.
Stay
Of course.
safe.
Yes. Definitely. Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. Then for the rest,
Anita,
how
you were
do you
saying, sorry.
describe the AnTuTan brand?
Siguro ang plastic ko naman kung sasabihin kong sisterhood, no?
No,
Kasi lahat
I
naman
don't think so.
lahat naman ng drag group, yan ang foundation. But I think it's like para ka lang bumili ng ice cream na 4 na yung flavor agad na magkakaiba.
So yung
Iba uso
party
yun.
pack, yung may ube,
Yes.
cheese, chocolate, tsaka
I mean,
strawberry.
it's not kasing mahal ng iba, but you get everything you want.
Wow. Okay.
Basta ako na yung cookies and cream, ha?
Sige. Ako na lang yung favorite ni Ramon Papa, yung ube chess.
Ako vanilla. Charing. Pero
Patricia also to go. Bye, Patricia.
Pero yeah, I just want to sabihin na yun nga rin. Iba-iba kasi kami ng iba-iba kami ng strengths when it comes to song choices, performances. Kumbaga, if you were to watch AnTuTan Says live show, you will get to see a lot of genres. You will get to see a lot of songs of different artists from old to new. Yun kasi yung binibigay naming flavor eh. Tsaka hindi kasi kami takot mag-perform ng mga emotional songs.
We actually love doing that, those guys.
We actually love doing that. I think that is one of our strengths, yung AnTuTan Says. We can do a lot of emotional songs and we are not scared of it. So yun.
Yeah, and I agree, and I, and that's why I also beyond the fact that we're friends and we always try to support, but it's definitely it's a very unique lineup of stuff, and then I feel bad that somebody had to go kasi doon pa lang parang nagugulat ako more and more na pag may mga solo na si Samael, it's like ano yung mga piyesa na hinuhugot niya?
Na nagagaling.
Oo, it's very intriguing. And then and my only complaint naman is that it's a Sunday night palagi.
Good night, Mon. Good night, Rupert. Thank you so much for watching.
Good night,
Rupert.
Yeah.
We miss you.
That's my main challenge is that it's on a Sunday night. It's like I have work tomorrow and I want to stay the whole show, but you can't.
We actually tried it on a Saturday, pero hindi talaga para sa amin ng Sabado.
I totally get that. I totally
Proven
understand.
and tested, Sir Toby, Sir Rocky. Di ba, Ma'am Anita? Twice na namin tinry ang Sabado, hindi talaga para sa amin. Iba talaga yung enerhiya ng Sabado sa enerhiya ng Linggo. Align talaga ang AnTuTan Says sa Sunday.
Kaya
I get that.
Ang sinasabi namin ay asap siya.
Kaya asap pag-drag.
Asap!
Bilang every Sunday, yun lang yung every Sunday kasi.
Yeah, I feel it's like separate our prior context when I was thinking about O-Bar. Pero ganun din kasi each night of O-Bar or any bar, but each night of O-Bar has a distinct flavor, ganyan. Depende sa mood.
So like if you want to see the highlight numbers, that's Friday, Saturday. But if you want to see the numbers where they really push boundaries, Thursdays yun. Or previously, Sunday.
Yeah.
Kasi Sunday dati was a dead day.
Sunday, GV lang ang Sunday.
But it reached the point that Sunday became popular na rin. Ang dami na rin tao na, di ba?
Oh.
I remember when we used to go Sundays,
walang
tao. And that's why we love going kasi hindi tayo napipisan sa dami ng tao. But then it reached the point na parang, Sunday ba to? Ba't ang daming tao?
Yes.
So,
pero,
may
may
evolution
Sir Toby, Sir Rocky. Kasi ako bilang performer, Sunday ko talaga nilalabas yung mga piyesa na gusto ko talagang gawin to.
Mm-mm.
Kaya lang alam kong hindi pang Biyernes, pang Sabado. Kaya ililinggo ko
Diba?
to, ito Thursday ko to. Na eventually, okay naman pala. Like yung
Yeah.
first time kong ginawa yung buwan, Thursday yun.
Yes.
First
Yes.
time kong nilabas yung Not Getting Married, that was a Sunday. Yung Satisfied, first time I did it was a Sunday. So yung mga to push boundaries, yung mga piyesa mong pushing boundaries, talagang ako sa UBAR, it's either Thursday or Sunday. Pero most likely Sunday kasi Thursday iniisip ko pa, hindi pa ako ready, baka Sunday na. So Sunday na siya.
Thursday always feels very very rough workshop day. And then there's always still good numbers, but then may ibang solo na bago to. And then which is like Toby and I like the escape, the Thursday escape, even though bangag kami the next
And
day.
then I'll have to admit a guilty pleasure at siguro napansin ni Anita to. I love the bagong number. And then the next time we see it, gumagaling na yung nasa left. Nasabihan yan kasi mali sa timing siya last week. And then mapapansin namin next time, may dinagdag silang number. May 3 na sila, hindi na 2. Yung mga ganong moments. And then every now and then, si Anita titingin sa atin, okay ba? Ako nag-choreo.
Nag-feedback na yan. It's like, oh my
So
God.
nagbubulong-bulungan tayo ng medyo nahuli si ay oo, sasabihan ko yan.
I miss that. I miss that chica at the bar. Anyway, oh my God. Okay.
Minsan
I
from
know.
your perspective, di ba, and your side, maganda rin yung nakikita niyo yung journey of a performance. Diba?
Yes.
And that's what I super love. And that's also why we like going so often. And then I'm sure for some, and I take video pa, diba? And then parang ang dami kong video of the same number over and over. But then may kita mo din yung evolution of the of how it is choreographed kung may backup or hindi.
So like
lighting.
So like an example, when Turing did one, we were all blown away.
Yes.
Grabe ang buwan number. And then it evolved to a group number.
Yung buwan na 3 kayo.
And that was still amazing because it still was so serious, but it still had a funny moment, and yet it still may iyak ka pa rin. So
and then
ang galing
very distinct yung naging styling between Kat and
because
Let
it wasn't
and
just a
Turing.
performance, even the music shifted.
Yes.
So ay nako, ang galing ng mga ganung numbers, and it was such a joy for me to see. Because for me, I was like, naghanap na naman sila ng way to elevate it further.
Yes.
And that's why I always feel that there's so much that people don't realize that goes behind the scenes. There's so much effort, there's so much creativity, there's so much, in lack of a better word, there's so much courage. Kasi you can imagine some people will be like, ay, sinira nila yung kanta, pabit nila binaboy. And they have the right to say that because, I mean, that's their opinion. They have every right to have their opinion. But it takes courage to do it, to decide to do that change. And I know, that's why I was always impressed with all of you. I know.
And that's like my struggle now for like a lot of the online shows now. And then it's hard. Then I want to still have that same feeling of progression and like seeing how numbers evolve. And then, but syempre not all numbers are pag live show, pag online, it's not necessarily as rehearsed. Because ang laking factor ng requests.
I'll throw this shade na rin.
Sige.
Because we have to be honest.
I know what you're gonna say.
Not
Sige.
all the queens were doing that. There were queens who were playing it safe and always doing the same numbers. And that's
mahirap pag-request.
But ayun nga, I don't want to give naman the parang we're blind to that. That meron ding mga queens na parang okay, yun na naman ang gagawin niya. So yun lang. Okay, go ahead.
Tsaka para sige, in this moment,
para lang honest.
in this slight tea moment, I will say tsaka there's no other way to say it. But I'll always feel na mas sulit to watch AnTuTan because I get more performances throughout the night. Alam mo yun? And parang and as much as I enjoy like the talking through in between, but then at the same time, parang bar lang that you have to keep the show going.
Yeah.
And diba? And then it drags a bit when there's too much talking or it's just a lot of like and I know that there's tipping, but then hindi swabe minsan pagpasok ng request ng tipping, then it's just a lot of tipping.
Yeah. And of course we're coming from we'll have it playing, and sometimes ma-realize na lang namin na tapos na kami kumain or naghanda na kami ng tapos na yung food, na hugas na yung pinggan, wala pa rin bagong next number. Yung pa rin ang pinag-uusapan nila. So parang,
for certain shows.
So parang there's that urge to, maybe we should shift to a different channel na lang muna. Para, di ba? Watch a different live stream na lang muna.
Mm-hmm.
So, we love you all, but there is that feeling sometimes of, kasi like, back at Obar, we had that feeling of we could at least approach and give advice or give feedback. Well, it's not that we knew better, it's just that ito yung thoughts namin, baka makatulong. But now, with everyone doing stuff from home, parang who are we naman to tell people what to do, di ba?
Yeah.
So, but yun yung mga feelings namin. Going back.
No, but thank you for saying that, Sir Toby, Sir Rocky. Kasi yun yung lagi din namin pinag-uusapan before we start our live stream, na we will try to make that asking for the tipping portion as little as possible or as less as possible, kasi ang core naman talaga namin AnTuTan is performances talaga, and yun nga, sabi nga namin kanina, we are a family, and most of our viewers na hindi naman madami, pero sila rin kasi yun eh. They are always there. So they already know na pag sinabi lang namin, tip your queens, ganyan-ganyan, may darating talaga. Hindi na namin kailangan makiusap, ganyan.
Yeah.
Kasi we totally get your point na ang cringy, na ang tagal nyo, mag-perform na kayo. Ang tagal nyo sa portion na naghingi ng tip.
I will add though, I will add though that it's not that you have to have less of that. Kumbaga, because sometimes kailangan mo talaga kulitin yung tao.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's just that if it's nothing na but that, then you start to wonder why you're watching.
For 10, 15 minutes.
Diba?
Tagal na.
So, I don't mind if parang before and after a number you ask for tips, then fine. But at least may nangyayari after you ask. But if it's parang ask for tips and then 10 minutes later, it's still asking for tips, di parang, why am I watching this?
Yes.
And I don't want to sound like naman I'm so privileged or I'm so demanding. But to be more blunt about it, paano ko nagbigay na ako? Bakit ito pa rin yung nakikita ko? So, mawawalan ka ng gana. And, di ba? And it's not naman that you're expected to perform. Di ba? But parang, so maybe I can just give my tip and then timbrehan nyo na lang ako pag start na yung show. Parang gano'n na lang. Di ba? Kasi sayang naman din ang oras ko. So it's that sort of feeling. So anyway, continue what you're doing. We love that. We love actually seeing the numbers.
I think, Toby, yun yung kailangan ingatan. Kasi you mentioned you don't want to sound that you're privileged. But you are. Kasi you gave a tip.
Yes,
so you
precisely.
are entitled to feel that way, and you are entitled to a good show. So I think to our fellow drag artists who does live shows, I think that's one thing that we have to be very careful of.
Yes.
And to be reminded.
To always be reminded that we owe each one na nanonood a good show. A good
That's true.
something.
That's true.
I think whether nag-tip or hindi, kasi the mere fact na nanonood, you owe that person a good night.
Because they're giving their time.
Kasi nag-live ka nag-show ka. You presented yourself to the public, and the only thing you have to do is give them a good show.
True.
I think we always have to be reminded.
Or at least perform. Actually, ano nga yun nga, Sir Toby, Sir Rocky, na As nung habang tumatagal itong pandemic at kaming mga performers, nasasanay na sa konsepto ng pagpa-perform virtually, nawawala na yung core, nawawala na yung core reason kung bakit tayo nagvi-virtual show, which is, you know, to entertain. Kasi yun naman talaga ang yun naman talaga ang pinakarason bakit ka nagla-live show eh. Especially you call it a drag show, a live drag show. So with that, ang kaakibat nung salitang live drag show, virtual man yan or personal, ay may makikitang performance. So yun yung nakakalimutan ng iba na sa amin, ibang performers na they forgot dahil naging, I guess, complacent, if you will, nakakalimutan nila yung core reason why they are doing it is to entertain. Kasi to some, I totally agree with you on the money matters. Kasi to some, it started to sound like you are so greedy of the money already. For us, for the audience to see you perform, you have to have a certain amount first.
Yeah.
Parang masyado naman atang gahaman, for lack of a better term. Pero I guess that's that. So ayun. And yun yung I'm not boasting AnTuTan Says shares, pero yun yung iwasan namin. Yun yung iwasan namin. Na yun yung every time we start a live show, habang nag-makeup, lagi namin pinag-uusapan yan. Ganito ha, ganyan-ganyan. Actually, after last na pagsasama namin, pinag-usapan pa namin yung mabuti. Hinimay namin yan, si Anita nagsabi niyan, himayin natin. Sabi ni Anita, I think, nung medyo naging ata tayo sa paghingi ng tips before the naging usapan namin siya. And then, nirecall niya pa yung video para lang ma-double check. Kasi iniiwasan talaga namin na magmukha na lang siyang money show.
Yeah, and you know, and not to what's this? Not to like ask for special treatment or anything, but syempre, and then lalo lang me and Toby naman. It's like we're super careful. Di ba, careful? I don't know if careful is a term, or basta we're very deliberate in like when we try to tune in to watch a show. Kasi ako naman, it's like a given that whatever we're gonna watch, we're gonna give something. We're gonna try to make sure we can give something. We want to help.
We want to show our appreciation.
And then I always feel weird minsan na parang nagbigay na ako and then hihiritan pa rin ako in the show by name and like ladies, let's not. you know I will, but you don't have to call me out, and then it just gets weird. So, but that's like it's super minor.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel it's very light with like shows like yours. And I'm hence on a Sunday nagpupuyat pa rin kami. And then like as long as like we can still watch, even though I know that we both have early morning meetings on Mondays, every Monday, that we'll try to watch and
I think to add to that lang.
Yeah.
So it's a truth that times are hard.
Yes.
And I respect that people need money. That's a reality in life. It's a painful fact, and the pandemic has not made it easier, nor have the people who could have had the power, who have the power and could have made it better, but they still have not done so. But when you entertain, you give people an escape.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if your entertainment will be to slap them in the face that you're having a hard time, people will not want to support you. Diba? And I'm not saying you don't have a right to call for help.
Yes.
But then it has to be clear that's what the show is. Diba? Parang I don't go to the movie theater and then masusurprise ako na hindi pala siya movie theater, lesson pala siya on calculus. Diba? That's not fair for me.
Yeah.
And likewise, if I see that there will be a show and I visit and let's say it's a fundraiser kasi si ganito may sakit and we want to help, then I understand that's the purpose of the show.
Yes.
But then if I go to a show and it's a show, and then what I get instead is a parang reminder that I should be giving more, then I'm suddenly wondering, why am I in this show? Because it's not what I came here for.
True.
So yun yung I guess that's what I'm just saying, na if that's the message, then I guess sana clear yun yung message. Para I know what I'm getting into. Yan. Hi! Anyway.
Basahin ko lang yung yung
Comment
comment
ni Carlo.
Cruz. So
Go.
sabi ni Carlo, na nag+1 si Chai Ai, AnTuTan has such an interpersonal experience whenever you enter the live. The performers are so human when they perform and the way they interact with the audience.
Yes.
Customer service is king in the virtual space and these 4 artists are winning in that game. Oh,
Love you, Carlo.
baby girl lang ito, she. Thank you. Nakayak naman yun.
It's a very true statement.
As
Doon ako natatawa.
Kasi nawawala ka.
Kasi nawawala ka kanina, so para kang lugaw na checkpoint.
So Anita is essential.
And now AnTuTan Says is essential. Okay.
So wait, I'm just confirming because it's now 5 minutes to midnight. We still have a watching customer viewer base of around 10. So do you want to wrap up? Do you want to?
Kayo, it's more up to them than you.
Madali lang yan.
And then Turing pa double
Kung gusto nyo
check.
pa kaming tumuloy, press 1.
Press 1 kung nag-enjoy pa kayo sa conversation na ito. Diba?
Yes.
Para
Turing pa double check.
tuloy ang chikahan.
Kasi sa akin, nag-register pareho. So pa-double check lang.
Okay. Sabi ni Sir Bob, the most successful people follow passion, not paychecks.
And hopefully,
Maniniwala lang kami dyan ba? Pag nagparamdam ka, saan siya magpaparamdam tan?
So yung mga ganyang statement, medyo ganyan, no? Shady.
Oo. Hindi kasi ganito yan. Bob, ang ganda nung sinabi mo na the most successful people follow passion, not paychecks. Pero sobrang laking bagay na bigyan natin yung mga tao na to ng yung mga taong may passion ng opportunities and more options to survive. And we will survive with you tipping our GCash, PayPal, and of course our BPO under the name of John Arthur Quinto, di ba?
Received it, Sir Toby.
Okay, good.
Ayan, nag-press 1 sila, Toby and Rocky. So I think we don't have
At may hug pa si Anita, hindi lang press 1.
So kami naman dito sa Baduy Pride, we're happy to keep going, of course. We're just, of course, conscious of all of you. We're also conscious of knowing that drag can be also stressful to wear the whole time. So kung gusto niyo mag-tone down, okay lang din. Just let us know.
Okay lang ako ngayon eh.
I just want to add one thing pala, which is pabor on our part na AnTuTan. I think we have the we have the charm, especially si Tan, of asking tips. Na she's able to deliver it in a manner na hindi offensive.
Yeah. True.
Yes.
But let me just remind that not everybody has that particular charm. Kasi yung iba, akala meron, pero hindi gano'n nagtatranscend eh. So yung iba kasi ginagaya yung style ni Tan, for example, na hindi naman nag-work that way. I think that's, nabanggit ko lang kasi I think that's one butas kung saan pumapasok yung sinasabi ni Toby na parang medyo offensive na or nakaka-annoying na.
Yeah.
That's true, actually. I was joking about shade, but yeah, it's true.
But yung walang kamatayang baka naman.
Right, tama na. Because we love them.
Yeah,
okay, we love them all.
It
also becomes hard. Kasi minsan, okay, ako I'll share. So with my dad passing almost 1 year na. And then with friends we know in the hospital, and then with other people we know whose loved ones have passed away also recently. Sometimes you just want an escape, and you see someone's live stream, let's turn it on, and then it becomes this constant. Magbigay naman kayo, ganyan. and you're like, change, patayin mo na lang. Kasi nga, ang hirap na eh. So, and I know it feels, it's very to expect them to be the one to help you go out of that funk. But then, that's what you'll expect because there is a show.
Yeah.
Bob Madrigal, naman yung sinabi mo, pinifeed mo na naman yung fantasy. Tandaan mo, isang linggo yung maglalast. Sorry. Kaya na, dati.
Si Bob kasi, no? Fire Blair St. Clair, that was Mrs. Stan.
Well, I could see that.
Okay, so...
Mali yan. Hindi kayo magsasuffer, si Anita.
Bakit ako naka-Alex Dixon look?
Actually, medyo. Now that your angle is this one and your hair is a bit different from kanina.
Pero ano yung one side na the one side drape?
Oo. Iyan mo sa harap. Sa harap.
Yeah, yung one side ulit.
Idaan mo sa harap.
Yan.
At ito sabihin mo, Mando.
Alex Dixon. I can feel it.
I wanted to ask recently kasi it's only recently na syempre because of the ECQ ulit. Then bigla na lang was just go back to Zoom and all these things instead of performing together. But then admittedly, ngayon lang ako nakasali. It was only last weekend I think nakasali kami sa Zoom. Kasi normally hindi kami nabutan for some reason. Again, because the scheduling. So what's that like for you? Because I know, syempre, it's harder to get like traction on Zoom. It doesn't share well. The link doesn't do anything on Facebook, diba? And then it's really you really most likely hakot yung parang core fans.
Yes.
So what's that show experience like for you versus like just doing Facebook?
Okay lang, Sir Rocky. Kasi doon naman kami nagsimula eh. We started from Zoom talaga. So, at saka, ayun nga, siguro, paano ba? Ang hirap i-explain. Hindi kasi kami, I mean, we need money. That's true. That's so true. Pero at the same time, every time we do AnTuTan, we just want to do a show. We just want to entertain. Yun kasi, yun yung main goal namin every time eh. So, regardless, kumbaga, syempre, nagtatanungan kami, okay bang tip natin so far, ganyan-ganyan, because we need also money. Pero kung hindi naman okay ang tip, okay lang din. Hindi naman siya malaking factor for us na dahil kaunti lang na-receive naming tips, titigil na kami. No. Kaya okay lang kami for Zoom kasi besides yung AnTuTan family rin kasi iba talaga kasi iba yung closeness namin eh regardless. There was one time na last year na inabot kami ng 5 because we just talk. Nagsimula siya sa AnTuTan and then natapos na yung AnTuTan namin ng alas 2, nagbubura na kami ng makeup, wala na kaming makeup, alas 5 na, may araw na, nandun pa rin kaming lahat. Kasi ganun yung namin, yung bonding namin na walang regardless kung 8 lang kami, 12, 11, 10, ganyan, or 9, okay lang sa amin.
At saka siya, parang ako as someone na hindi pala ako ang pinakabata pala. Ako pinakabata pagdating sa age. Ako ang baby girl na AnTuTan pagdating sa age, technically. Okay. So parang, na rin siya, parang naging avenue din kasi yung AnTuTan para mag-try at mag-explore pa ng maraming pwede kang i-explore. At thankful ako sa AnTuTan Says for that, na parang, shit, nagagawa ko to, hindi ko before nagagawa. Kasi parang, hindi siya fitted doon sa feels, hindi siya fitted doon sa Kemerut, tas parang sa AnTuTan, it's just open for everything and open for possibilities.
Yes.
Kaya, ang saya din.
And I like the Zoom only because, and then it's stupid like, I mean, yeah, parang while watching, very deliberate kami ni Toby na, sige, I was telling Toby, we'll keep our camera on kasi parang naman ma-feel yung may audience. Which is like, as I hate, I mean, syempre for work, I have a lot of these Zoom calls and whatever video calls. And then it's so unnerving when you're talking and then everybody's camera off mute and then wala, it's just super dead air. So I like the extra angle of interaction na in the Zoom format. As much as it's not as easy to get like more people in, but it's kind of nice to feel like we're all just hanging out. So,
Yes.
I like that experience.
Gusto
Tsaka
ko nga...
ang saya din nung last Sunday kasi parang halimbawa pag may, di ba before parang pag may Hoy Chai Agoncillo, yung ganon. Hoy Chai, ano na naman yung Kemerut. Tapos makakasagot si Chai na hindi tayo maghihintay ng 10-second delay, na 15-second delay na para intayin yung comment niya. Kasi di ba minsan nakakatamad mag-type. Aminin natin yan. Mas masarap magsalita.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't think Toby was expecting to perform. So
Bigla ako nag-dancing queen. Oh my God.
Which was super fun. It was like so I know. Oh my God, I was so puyat on Monday morning, but it was worth it. So I don't know. I don't think it's hard to say if there's like a better or worse or whatever format. But then I do appreciate the Zoom shows because it's a lot more interactive. So I wouldn't mind more of that.
O, di ba? Sabi sa inyo may delay.
Yes. Yun nga eh.
Pero pagdating kay Chai Agoncillo, I think okay na rin yung may delay.
Oo. Or may okay na din yung wala masyadong sinasabi pabalik.
Oo.
Mas
Pero kay
nakakontrol
Chai
mo
na
yung
rin na.
usapan.
Oo.
At saka with
Pati
Zoom,
natin ang ating Spunky from Malabon, si Lorena Esteve, at ang ating manager is watching na.
hello, hello!
Sinare nyo na ba ito sa barangay?
Oh my gosh.
Ay, Sir Toby, Sir Rakid, it went to a point na nung nag-show kami sa Malabon, yung barangay page ng Malabon na pinagpa-performa namin, shinare yung live namin.
Yes.
Well, I think we were watching that night. No. What's happening? At yung
Alam mo
Diba?
naman.
literal shinare sa barangay.
Happy na kami doon.
Official barangay
Actually,
event.
Kepler Elver says, iba talaga interaction na AnTuTan Says, it saves us from our sanity. That's true. And I just like the chill vibe. And and you know, I'm sure I think Anita will understand when I say it. It's very Sunday show. I mean like for dati kami sa OBAR, we were almost always Sunday. Kasi I was call center pa eh.
You had night shift call center, so you could not go except for Sundays.
Yeah, pwede ko pilitin yung Saturday, but normally bangagawa ako from work. But then Sundays is like the night na I can go out super relaxed and then super chill yung Sundays.
Yun yung laging sila Anita hihirit sa akin. Oh, nasaan na naman si Rocky? And I'm like, nasa work na.
But Toby would go almost every other night, and then I would only be able to join Sunday na. So yeah, so I like that. I like that vibe on a Sunday night, and so I'm always waiting and and we juggle other things during the weekend. We have different like online games and calls with friends, but then come time for the show, and I want to make sure na like, are we done with Baduy Pride na by before 10? Para in case after 10, we can watch.
Ang naman nakakatuwa at nakakakilig from our part na parang may naghihintay talaga yung gano'n. Kasi as a performer, nakakatawa din na ewan ko, nakakatawa na maganda siyang pressure, maganda siyang kind of pressure na meron kang audience, sure na audience na manonood sa'yo, susuportahan ka dun sa mga gusto mong gawin. So parang gano'n. Hello naman sa manager ng AnTuTan Says, si Tony De La Paz.
And then like our challenge, I've explained this on another episode, but I'll say again. Siyempre ang default ko, kung Facebook Live, I stream it sa TV. And then when kailangan mag-comment, I have to log in again. I have to load it also on Facebook on my phone or my computer. Tapos doon ako magcha-chat. So super delayed kami mag-reply whenever you're like, nandiyan pa kayo, nandiyan pa kayo. But I'm like, no, we're still here, we're still here.
And then we're always, sige, matutulog na tayo. And then we'll suddenly hear to ring, Sir Rocky, Sir Toby, gagawin kayo number. So, hindi na tayo makatulog. Naramdaman na naman yung palis na tayo.
Or it's the fateful 2 words. Broadway set na Broadway set na.
Makatulog.
1 word, Hamilton.
So
or 1 word, Kylie.
Kylie. And
Pero I just want to say thank you, Sir Rocky, Sir Toby, for recommending me disco the
Ganda, di ba? Sobrang
grabe
ganda.
yun. Tsaka
my best gift from 2020.
Tsaka lang dahil sa inyo, kaya ko naging GB song yung I Should Be So Lucky. So yun.
This is why Kylie is our thing, and then to fully explain that, and that's why so many Obar birthdays have gone through na ang default pag birthday either of our birthdays Kylie ang ipe-play. But it's because of that. And then oh my god, but this disco album it was so good and so timely for this. Kasi parang as down as we were last year. And I know that when Say Something as a single first came out, super like, oh my god, this is my pandemic song. This is like, I want to feel this. And that there's a part of the message that, that we're not together now. And then when we'll be back together again. And super, that's how I feel about all this.
Parang, all the people we're so selective of the people we keep close to us.
Yes.
And to not have those people for a year na, oh my god, ang sakit ang hirap. And wala kasi we know a lot of friends who are very, they have friends everywhere and they go here and there. And that's them. And tayo, we're the type na magka-outing sa beach. Sige, punta rin tayo. But we'll stay in the hotel or we'll... and it's not that we don't love them. It's just that we're really not, hindi kami ganon. Hindi yun yung wavelength namin.
Yeah. I know there was a trip na we went on our own. Tapos nagkataon, may isang grupo namin was also... was also there. And we never...
excited.
So nice.
And then they're like, punta kami dito. And we're like, okay, dito lang kami. Bye. Kasi, that's us. But, when it comes to Obar, we love going out. It was a place we were willing to go out with. So, yun yung namin.
At kung saan nag-GRO si Toby, at every night, may bago siyang kausap na in the start of the night, inaway niya.
Hindi ko naman inaway.
Sinungitan. Sige. Because they put their drinks on the table and didn't say anything. Mga ganyan. Or nabangga si Toby.
Kasi ganyan. Kunyari, Rocky's me. Ako yung tao. Kasi,
what?
diba? So ako naman parang, excuse me. And then afterwards I learned, sorry kasi first time, ganyan. Di ako naman babait naman ako. O sige, dito ka na.
The magic words. First time. And then maya parang in between numbers, Toby will turn, Rocky, this is blank and blank. It's their first time. Like, oh my God, nararamdaman ko na. Which, saying the words first time at any bar invites tequila to come near you, sooner or later. Tapos, syempre, Toby will introduce na naman. First time nila sa ayan. Shots
tuwing
lahat.
dadaan ako sa inyo, laging gano'n. First time nila yan, and they love your performance.
Hindi namin dala. Hindi namin friends yun before the night. There are people that Toby meets during the night.
Hindi kasi madaling mapansin ang first-timers. Sila yung pag-akit pa lang ng dancer, ay. And I'm like,
at nagbe-video ng dancer.
So ako parang, baguhan to. Kasi tayo, sanay na tayo, the dancers are there. Okay, the dancers are there. Di ba? Kakawayan pa natin yan. Di ba? Mulong.
Mulong talaga. Si Mulong.
Di ba? But first timer, sobrang, ay! Yeah. And then likewise, yung first timers, minsan, ay, ang dami nila.
Oh,
Okay.
yung pag-opening number
Alam
that
mo,
everybody's
first timer yan.
Yeah.
So, that's when because there's also me being sensitive to the fact na since nandun kami sa may likod ng stage, sa may harap ng stage, mga nasa likod namin, I'm expecting either matatakpan ng camera,
Sorry.
or matatakpan ko because I'm tall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, nako-conscious naman ako sa kanila. And pag first timer, ayoko naman aalis sila na parang masaya sana pero nakaharang yung matangkad, ganyan. So I talk to them and if kaya naman, I'll let them have a space in the table, but I still don't let them sit at the table because it's not our table.
Yeah.
We're only allowed to sit there. So I'll be like, sige, okay lang dito yung drinks mo, pero pag may kailangan umurong, I talk to them. And that's why I don't like it when people put without asking. Kasi parang kung kami nga ilang years na kami pupunta, we still respect that we're there because we're allowed to sit there. Then who are you to just put your stuff on the table without even asking? Yeah. So ganung klaseng delikadesa lang siya.
Oh my God, si MC nandiyan pala.
Most
Most congenial si Sir Toby. Si Toby, congenial. Gusto ko yan.
sungit
Gusto
ako.
mo si Toby.
Masungit ako, nakita na ni Anita yan. Si Toby nagsusungit na naman.
No, I think the one thing that saves any newbie who makes the mistake and does things that Toby doesn't like, but when he sees they're genuinely interested in the show,
yes,
then
that's true.
Then Toby will take the time to talk to them.
I'll be nicer to them because they came there and appreciate the show.
Yeah.
Because we've seen a lot of first-timers na kahit may show, ay, ako, and I'm like, ang ingay nyo.
We've had friends who came and then they keep
them.
talking during the show. And then I'm sorry, na wag na lang. Parang teatro lang eh. Don't
Kasi
talk during
may
the
ganun
performance.
talaga may ganun po talaga sa bars. Hindi natin sila maiwasan. So,
And it's not necessarily bad because many people go to a bar because they just want to have fun.
yeah, to have
But
fun.
they don't realize bar was different because it wasn't just a bar. There was a show to watch. And dapat common sense na yon, pag may performance, tahimik muna, panoorin nyo muna yan. Diba? So, but syempre,
As we all grow older, are we all Rupert? No, sorry.
ay!
Hindi, totoo na.
Okay, wait, back to them.
Sorry. Shadow bar. Nakamiss lang.
Okay, I have a question for each of you. Sayang wala si Samael.
Okay.
But I'd love to hear your answer to this question.
Okay.
Hypothetically, nagkaroon tayo ng big chance, big investor, AnTuTan Says the channel. Okay?
Or like a YouTube
Yeah,
channel?
or let's say station.
Oh,
That's
TV.
The channel talaga.
Okay.
What is your signature merchandise? So ano yung mabibili ko sa store? Ito yung Anita Blank or ito yung Turing something or ito yung Mrs. Stan Blank. Ano yung merchandise?
Sorry. Siyempre, una yung OTAP na naman. Wait, but other than that, sige, ano yung totoong merchandise?
Ako feeling ko yung sa akin shade.
Ay, pwede!
That's nice.
Shades na hindi gumagalaw habang sumasayaw.
Diba?
May perfect nose grip.
Feeling ko ito yung pero ang magandang tanungin po sa merch namin ay si Jane Pia Mercado at si Rain Pia Mercado. Bila sila gumagawa ng merch ng AnTuTan.
Sila ang merch manager namin.
Oo.
Oh my gosh.
Kasi nung last Christmas party namin, naloka kami kasi may una, tapos may pes namin, para ako,
At
happy.
may pa-robe. Na may pangalan.
As in may
Bro.
may room kami na kanya-kanya na may nakalagay AnTuTan Says, tas name.
Yes. Tapos si naman, si Ate Love at saka si Vivi, merong pa sa amin, pa flask. May mga
that's
pangalan
nice.
namin. So ayun.
But do you have a dream merchandise?
Or like, what do you want? What would become your signature merchandise?
What would you love people to be able to buy that has your name on?
For me, I've always wanted to sell rave fans.
Rave fan? What do you mean?
Yung huge fans, yung clack fans.
Mm-mm.
Tapos may picture ng AnTuTan or yon. Yun yung gusto ko. Hindi ko talaga mahanap yung supplier sa AliExpress. Wala akong mahanap.
Tapos kailangan pag ganyan mo ang message, press 1.
Yung kabilang side.
Press 1.
Press 1, diba? Press 1 naman dyan. Kung ready na kayo, press 1!
Diba?
Bongga kaya yun.
Or pwede yung kasi reverse side, yung press 1. Yan.
Press 1.
Yung sinasabi ni Chai madalas.
Praise 1. Praise 1.
Praise 1.
Okay, maganda rin yung AnTuTan action figures. Actually, gusto ko nga yung Funko.
Yung Funko.
Mahal
mag-custom ng Funko.
Mahal magpagawa nun, sobra.
Oo, kasi have you seen my story?
Yes.
Someone said a fan art of me. Sabi ko, ang ganda. So, nag-search ako sa Facebook ng cheapest na Funko. 3,500. Ang mahal.
Kasi they have to look for an existing Funko na medyo malapit and then i-modify.
Sana may 3D printer na lang para mabilis.
How about you, Anita? Meron kang merchandise in mind?
Wala. Ano ba?
Boots,
Bato.
heels?
Bato.
Ha?
Bato.
Paano mo gagawing merch yung bato?
Hindi.
Or yung hindi kasi si Anita may signature cut ng dress. Feeling ko magandang merch yun.
I think panyo. Kasi mahilig naman ako magpaiyak.
Ay!
Tapos yung merch nakasulat, pre-wet with the victim of Anita's tears.
What?
Para pag nasaktan kayo doon.
Sabi ni Carlo, comic book din.
Ang sabi ni Elvira, si Mama Anita nasa fan, tas yung pes niya nakataas ang kilay kay Mrs. Tan.
I saw so only recently you started a separate Facebook page na for AnTuTan. But then syempre, ECQ happened. But I'm kind of excited for what you plan to do.
Hindi kasi
There's a story behind that.
Na pulis eh.
Ha?
2 beses na po kasi na pulis yung account ko.
Ay, oo. Hindi ka makapost.
And
there was a Sunday kasi na na-block yung account ni Turing, na-block yung account ni Mrs. Tan, and then we used my account. So, sa sobrang kaba namin na baka ako na yung next, nag-create na lang kami ng page. So, yun yung reason. Actually, walang any reason and story behind the page except for that.
Oh my God, sabi ni Chai,
yung iba kasi nagme-message na, oy, bigati na yung AnTuTan, meron ng page, ganyan. Hindi po ganun yun.
Pero okay lang na yun ang isip.
Yeah. When worst comes to worst, na wala kaming magamit na account, may account ng manager namin na admin doon na pwede kami mag-login para mag-live.
True.
That's fair. I don't know. I keep wondering if Baduy Pride needs to have a page.
I think we will need to eventually.
At some point.
Just so that people know where to find us also.
Kasi so far, it's like still riding on my account. And it's harder to find sometimes.
So let's assume, again, fictional, imaginary moment. Let's assume nagkaroon ng cartoon series.
Cartoon naman ngayon. Okay.
AnTuTan Says, the cartoon series.
Okay.
Paglitaw ng character nyo, may 3 words na lilitaw. Yun yung descriptors ng character nyo.
Ay.
So, Turing! Ching, ching, ching. Ano yung 3 words ninyo?
Ay.
Hindi ba pwedeng powers na lang?
Pwede rin. Pero isipin mo nga, parang those 3 words already capture who you are. So, ano yung mga lilitaw na words na yun? Sige, who's ready?
Wait lang. Akala ko ba crispy pala to?
Pwede rin.
ang gusto
Go,
ko na
Turing.
doon, lips.
Actually, meron na kaming cartoon superhero something.
Yeah, I
Ginawa
saw
na
on the
kami.
page, diba?
Gawa ni Carlo Cruz. So,
Saka
ang
ni
gusto ko,
Ipo.
lips, emotion, quality.
Ay, good job. Lips, emotion, quality. Sige. The others.
Ako, heart, soul, power.
Nice.
Ay, bagay. Super bagay. I like.
Ako pass.
Si Mrs. Tan, OTAP for sale.
Ano ko sabihin yung OTAP? Ano ko lalabas naman yung OTAP?
For sure naman lalabas yun. Hindi na natin mapipigilan. Pero feeling ko yung sa akin, pass. And
I think one word for Mrs. Tan is energy.
energy.
Ako, I'd add fearless.
Fearless. Kasi kung saan-saan, umaakyat.
Fearless, energy, and the last drive. Actually, drive is good.
Sabihin ko na shades.
Parang mas maganda yung grit kaysa sa drive. Grit.
Ay,
Pwede rin,
mas may laban.
actually.
Ayan,
How about for Samael? Sadly, Samael's not with us right now, but ano yung na-imagine yung possible words? Siyempre, Samael will have the last say. Eccentric.
Madaldal.
No.
This is the most I've heard Samael speak. this show tonight.
Madaldal siya.
Yun nga, kaya nga na-feel ko na it's just during the show context, hindi siya, in her drag persona, hindi siya madaldal.
A word I would use, I guess a word I would recommend, sublime.
Ay.
Yeah, could be.
Kasi disarming siya eh. You see,
Yes.
when you see Samael, parang, okay, ano kaya yung show? And then when you see the number, parang, wow, teka lang, bakit siya yung nag-number na to? Yung, sobrang makukuha ka off guard. Doon ako nagulat nung nakita ko yung numbers.
Isa na lang.
White. Pangat ka.
Mask.
Hindi eh.
King.
King. Actually, king is a good word.
That's a nice
King
one.
is a good word. Because it also captures a lot. Diba? There's power, there's presence.
Sa
There's...
pagiging drag king.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Nice,
awesome.
nice.
So, ayan, research na yan for those who might want to make a cartoon series.
A comic book, a webtoon.
Yan na.
Chais like Tan is energy, intelligence, bravery. Ganda naman.
Kabog.
Ito, energy attache, showister.
Yung
Okay.
Swister.
Still,
feeling ko Swister. Dapat pasok yung Swister doon.
I like the Swister. Okay, still following the concept of superheroes.
And superheroes.
Super beings. Sinong sidekick nyo?
Ay.
Pwedeng tao, pwedeng hayop, pwedeng but sino yung nyo? Sino yung second in command mo?
Number 1 yung aso.
Ako, polar bear.
Ay.
Full adult polar bear, baby polar bear.
Adult polar bear.
Ano yung personality ng polar bear?
Tulog. Sorry.
Fluffy, palaban, tulog.
Okay. Anita, would you have one in mind?
Sila.
Okay, si Chiden. Si Anita.
Dapat si Chiden. Yun na sinabi sila.
Baka kasi magselos pa, wag nang lumayo.
Si Tan Otap.
Bakit naging sidekick yung Otap?
Kayang-kaya yan. Maraming Hindi, pero
Mrs. Tan and the Mighty Otap.
Diba? Or feeling ko yung sa akin, ang sidekick ko, kung hayop siya, feeling ko pusa.
Na naka-shades din.
Oo. Paras kami nakakatay na shades. Nakagano.
Yan,
Hindi kasi feeling ko paras kami ng pusa. Minsan malambing. minsan malambing, minsan walang pake. So, depende sa ano.
Madalas hindi naliligo.
Di ba? Ganun lang.
May request si Chai Tan.
Magkano tayo dyan, Chay?
Okay. And for that, ayan, mag-rar na yan. Oh my God. Parang pusang ayaw maligo. It's crazy.
Tamadi. Tsaka di ba sabi nila, mawawalan na daw tayo ng tubig. So, conserve water as much as we can.
Oh my God, can we not? On top of everything, pati tubig, ano? Ay, nako. Okay.
So it is officially Saturday.
Yes.
It
Hello, Black
is now
Saturday.
12:30. We have crossed the 3-hour mark. Thank you so much, everyone, for still being on the show and watching and joining us. The tipping details have been shown, and it will be shown again. But the show is still going on. And do you want to binukas mo
I guess so. Para naman may iba. I think we
Sige.
can wrap up with a game and as we wind down. Para naman.
Bakit
Kasi we
ganun?
want
Pag may ilalabas sila, kinakabahan ako. Ngayon lang ako kinabahan ng ganito.
Ako din eh.
So there's a game called
Red Flags.
Red Flags. So sadly, this is not a Filipino game,
Okay.
but it's still a fun game. And the concept of Red Flags is...
Gusto ko yung red flags. Mas
Nagkareto kayo.
Oo, may irereto kang tao. Tapos, mamimili yung tao sa mga choices. But since we're not playing this game as normal,
Yeah.
we're going to use either white card... Well, we're going to use the white cards and the red cards. The white cards represent personalities of the guy. So, for example,
Good things.
ang irereto ko, tayo nagrereto.
Yeah.
So, let's say we'll play muna with Turing. Turing, may kilala ako na para sa'yo, famous rapper. Ay, marunong mag-rap. Tapos, famous artist din. Okay, Rocky, yung kilala mo?
Pangalan is driven,
So,
but is also a mer person.
So, driven siya na merman.
Driven the merman.
So, parang si Aquaman. Yeah. So far, sinong mas type mo? Yung rapper na artist o si...
Driven merman.
Ano pangalan ng merman? Si Aquaman? Huh? Jilly.
Jason Momoa.
Oh, Jason Momoa na
pwede.
driven.
Yes.
Sino mas type mo so far?
Doon tayo sa Hot Daddy. Jason Momoa.
Ay! Pero si Jason Momoa, he kisses his siblings with his mouth open.
And then,
yung artist ko, tsaka rapper, ayaw mo siya na lang?
but yung kay Toby, he tries to pay for everything with farm animals.
So pag lumabas kayo sa
So,
restaurant,
nagbabarter siya palagi.
ito may kambing ako para dyan sa kakainan natin ng Japanese food. So sino na yun ang mas pipiliin mo? Si
Yun na lang
rapper
din tayo.
artist?
Jason Momoa pa rin to.
Same.
Kahit open mouth kiss.
Okay, open mouth kiss. Total,
So,
nasali
ka-French-
naman ako sa open mouth kiss sa SNL eh. Yung family doon. Sino ba yun? Yung sa
Ay,
SNL.
yes!
Yes. Okay, so that's how Red Flags is played. And normally, if we were all together,
You'd all have cards.
iikot kung sino yung taya, kung sino
Okay.
yung mamimili. At lahat tayo na hindi taya, meron tayong cards para lahat tayo may nirereto.
Okay.
But since we don't have that opportunity, tayo na lang nagrereto.
Yeah, we just offer your choices.
So Turing, it's your turn. Sino sa kanila ang single na magrereto kami?
Si Mrs. Tan muna tayo.
Okay. Mrs. Tan,
Yes
may
po.
kilala ako.
May pili ka?
He never arrives prematurely.
Ay.
Alam na. He never arrives prematurely. Tapos,
Ba't mo ipili ka? Wait
Is
lang.
the most physically attractive person you've seen. Diba?
Wait, pipili ako. Ba't mo ipili? Daya mo.
O, diba? Maganda yung reto ko sa'yo.
Ay, sige. He is, madali, he's a good listener. He's a good listener. And you will literally not age while you're dating. So
Hindi ba pwede sa
forever
akin
young
yung option
ka.
na yan?
Ang red.
So sino mas type mo so far?
Pwede ba makita yung red flag? Hindi
Ay,
muna.
hindi
Not yet.
Pili ka muna.
Ito muna. Ito
Ano
muna
ang
pili
gusto
mo.
kay Sir Toby?
Siyempre, gusto mo yung gwapo at never comes prematurely. Ay, arrives pala prematurely.
Baka he never arrives then.
Hindi. Darating siya. Hindi lang siya premature pag dumating. So, sa akin, mas gusto mo yung reto. O, anong panira mo sa akin? Ano yung alam mo sa guys?
Ano yung kay Sir Rocky?
Yung kay Rocky,
Is you don't age while you're dating, and he's a good listener. Oh, very safe, diba? Kasi problema yung kay Toby.
Paano pag bulok ka na?
Ang problema ni Toby, he only speaks in hashtags. Ayan, sa'yo.
so sa akin, pinakagwapo na, never arrives prematurely, pero ano siya,
Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag.
time to eat lunch.
Hashtag sarap ng Pinoy. Ganon.
Ganun siya lagi
Oh,
magsalita. Yung kay Rocky, hindi ka tatanda at lagi nakikinig sa'yo, pero hindi siya potty trained.
Ano ba? Nakakainis.
So, anong pipiliin mo?
I don't know. Maybe you're into that, no?
Kay hashtags. Yay!
Doon
2-0.
ako sa hashtag.
2-0. Okay, so time for
Ano ko hindi
Anita.
potty trained.
Crazy.
Kasi kailangan ko ng magte-train din sa akin eh.
Siyempre, naghahanap ko yan ng card. Andaya. That's not how you play this game.
Okay, kay Anita, ikaw mauna. Ang tagal mo naman, sige, ako na mauna. Anita, may kilala ko. Millionaire. Ay. Pero, best sex ever. Saan ka pa? Check na check, di ba? Ikaw, sino yung kilala mo? Talaga.
Sige. No. So create shelters for the homeless. So mabait na tao, di ba? And then you'll never get sick while you date.
Ay, kailangan sa panahon
He
ngayon.
makes you COVID free.
So sino mas type mo? Best sex millionaire o si Magic Powers?
Ako best sex millionaire. Ako, mami, ha? Ako, isipin mo mga anak mo.
Siguro naman medyo may edad naman na ako. Doon na ako kay Toby. Huwag na tayo magpaka-hypocrite dito.
So far, I am winning.
Ayan.
Ano yung panira mo?
He talks dirty to all their food. so nilalandi niya lahat ng pagkain. Ayan.
So nilalandi niya yung pagkain. Si Rocky,
Okay lang?
yung kilala niya, won't allow Wi-Fi in the house. Diba?
I mean,
Bawal
choice
Wi-Fi.
guys. Makakapag-AnTuTan pa tayo.
Afford pa natin at least, kahit nilalandi niya yung pagkain, afford natin ang AnTuTan.
Pero, at saka milyonaryo. Okay na yun.
Mas maganda
Okay na
ang
yun.
mga nireto ko sa kanila.
Daya mo. May card limitations ang game na to for a reason. You know?
Like, ito yung isang red flag. Tinders during sex. Habang nagsa-sex, nagsi-Tinder.
Bastos naman nun.
And then one of my favorite red flags, ano yun? Has slept with his parents.
No, has slept with one of your parents recently.
Ew.
Well, in the case of Turing, sana naman kay Alicia, no?
Mga ibang red flags can only eat out of someone else's hand. Or teleports to the North Pole every time they say the word love. Love. May mga realistic, may mga super crazy.
Mm-mm.
So, I know. Mga kalokohan
So
naman.
that's the game of red flags. It's a small game of kalokohan, ratohan. But it's so fun pagka marami kayo.
Yeah, we like this more than like, I don't know if you ever heard of Cards Against Humanity. Because like, Cards Against Humanity is a bunch of like, it all just makes you terrible people at the end.
Cards Against Humanity makes you laugh at things that are not necessarily funny. For example, you have the card, the Jews or the gays. Ganun. At yun na yung joke. And I hate that. But here, it's sobrang obnoxious, so it makes sense that it's funny.
American reference kasi yung Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, yun pa.
And it's meant really to push. The humor is meant to push in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they did that. But it's still not a game that we would recommend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you for that game interlude.
So we have spent 3 hours and 30 minutes talking about everything, talking about AnTuTan Says, talking about your beginnings, talking about the future of AnTuTan Says. We've mentioned a little bit about life in general and all this and that. So I guess to wrap up our episode,
okay.
If AnTuTan Says was to actually have left a message, so let's say 5,000 years in the future,
wow,
the archaeologists of the future uncover. They uncover an artifact of the past, which is an AnTuTan Says something.
Okay,
what is that message? So parang, is it AnTuTan Says, and then is it the short phrase? Is it, diba? What is that message that AnTuTan Says that you would love in the future mahanap nila?
Is it a particular video? Is it, I don't know. Okay. So that's a weird question, but sige.
That's my closing, and then you have it.
Oh my God. May mga archaeologists mo in the future.
Siyempre.
He loves these future archaeology questions. Kasi parang nag-freeze lahat ng internet.
This question is about your legacy.
Sabi ko sa'yo, quiz bitong napasukan natin. Tingnan mo may essay writing.
Alam mo naman.
Anong gusto mo, Anita? Gusto mo may ano pa eh. So the judges have set their question. Anita, are you ready to answer?
Yes. So, a message as collective AnTuTan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, complete the sentence. AnTuTan Says blank.
In terms of your legacy.
Sabi ni Rocky, pwedeng video, di ba?
Yeah, pwede naman.
Siguro it's a video of our performance of Saan Ka Man Dali.
I was about to say the same.
Yung maayos naming performance nun, ha?
I was about to say the same. Kasi dun nakilala yung AnTuTan Says eh.
Na-record ba yun? Na-record ba yung performance?
Na-record in the sense na buhay pa yung live na yun, hindi na take down.
Yeah, I have a recording of some of our lives eh.
If you have it like somewhere on YouTube or something, do share the link para matag natin sa video na to. And then people can check it
Yung
out.
archaeologist?
Itag natin na archaeologist 5,000 years from now.
Tingnan mo yung nagko-comment yung AnTuTan fam mo. True. Kasi alam nila yun eh. Nakabisado na ng buong AnTuTan fam yung Saan Ka Man Dalhin. Kasi every Sunday, that is our closing song.
Yeah. Okay. Hindi namin naabutan ang full. Naabutan ka lang ang closing ng first set. Hindi closing ng show.
Kasi may pasok pa kami.
Yeah.
Pero nakita niyo namang opening yun nung huling Facebook Live. Hindi pala huli. Nung technically, yung last namin na Facebook Live.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Ano pang
Does
any
anyone have
other
a different take?
different artifacts for the future?
Feeling ko kaya rin ako.
Feeling ko yung una namin, yung may picture naming 4, nabigay ni Jane, yung merch namin. I think, kasi, well, kung tela naman yun, so, kahit pa paano naman, kung mabury siya ng pangmatagal at
Magsusurvive.
Magsusurvive siya kasi fabric siya. Tapos kung kakaskas nila na maayos, makikita nila yung picture naming 4. So, yun.
That's nice.
Ayoko, hindi ako ganun kaganda dun eh. Hindi ko bet. Paulit yan, avoid.
So, Mrs. Tan, what would you prefer to be the artifact na nahanap nila ng AnTuTan Says?
Okay na ako dun sa video. Depende sa video pa rin. Depende pa rin sa video.
Okay, thank you for answering the question. Ikaw?
Hindi, alam ko na, feeling ko isa kasi sa is yung feeling ko yung posters. Ewan ko, ang saya lang kasi nung naging journey ng posters ng AnTuTan.
Parang ang drama ng last set na parang...
Yeah, there's the one with the diamonds. There's the one with the separate columns. Ganda nga eh.
Ano yun? Anita. At saka parang, ewan ko, may hugot ako sa posters and everything. Tsaka parang ang saya lang natingnan na nakikita mo kung sino yung mga nagiging guest, kung sino yung mga, ewan ko, ang saya lang. So, ang saya lang. Nagbabago-bago yung oras, yung camera route. Pero same, tapos nakikita mo din yung growth. Kasi di ba nagbabago yung mga pictures. So, nakikita mo yung growth ng artist.
Yes.
So, yun.
Thank you, Rocky.
No pressure for last question. I don't know. I think
or last statement, and then we can
wrap up. I think the only thing is I guess for everyone, there are some who see whether used correctly or not. There are some who claim that they're a drag house, for example. And then for you, the term that comes up a lot is that you're a family. Is for AnTuTan, is it the same thing? Is there a difference? How do you distinguish for you? What better encapsulates sort of your friendship relationship together?
Can I start?
Sure.
I think I have partially mentioned this nung birthday show ko. I briefly compared the idea and the concept of a family and friends. Friends are the one we get to choose.
Yes.
But AnTuTan Says, and the family and the people surrounding it are people we did not choose to be with and meet. So I think that makes them family.
Okay.
And family you don't choose. So I think that's how I would explain it. Na ang AnTuTan Says family, ay pamilya dahil hindi namin sila pinili pero dumating sila sa buhay namin ngayon and makakasama namin sila for sure for the rest of our life. Whether we like it or not.
Ayun na nga, sabi ni Chai, wala silang choice. Nandun na ako.
Nandun na ako. Oh.
Actually, I
Okay
think I don't want to add that. Gusto ko yun yung statement ni Anita. Okay ako doon.
Okay. Mrs. Tan?
Yun na rin.
How rare,
babalik pa rin siya sa at the end of the day, we love our family always and forever.
Minsan ka lang nakita si Mrs. Tan tahimik. Wala masabi.
Gusto niyo po ba siyang may masabi? Tan, paano kami sasabihin? Kailangan pagalawin ang
Gcash, at saka PayPal under the name of John Arthur Quinto. Huwag kayong mag-feel ko yung
sasagutin,
isa ko malaking pepe.
Sasagutin ko din directly naman yung tanong ni Rocky na yung is it a drag house, drag family or not? No, definitely this is not a drag house. That's for sure.
Mhm.
And what do you why do you feel it's not? Like, what's the difference? Why what distinguishes it that it's not a drag house, so to speak?
Kasi number one, nagsimula kasi kami not being drag queens.
Mm.
And nagpapatuloy kami araw-araw without us thinking of ourselves as drag queens. I mean, there's only one day of the week that we talk about AnTuTan. I mean, in most cases.
As a show, yeah.
Most of the time naman, we say, kumusta ka? Okay ka lang? Ganyan-ganyan. As us, individuals. And we mas sinusuportahan kasi namin ang growth namin isa't isa bilang tao, hindi bilang drag artists.
Yes. At saka
The growth and the welfare.
At saka for me, until now, I still don't know the concept of a drag house. Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, wala naman talagang ganyan drag house na yan eh. Sa ibang bansa lang yung may ganyan. Ewan ko ba yung mga kabataan ngayon, yung mga drag queen ngayon, may ano na. I mean, yes, for example, for me drag mother ko si Mama Katkat. Pero Mama Katkat was my drag mother because when I entered O-Bar, si Anita or si Sir JR, sa kanya ako inassign para to take care of me kasi nga bago pa ako sa industriya. Basically, that's just that. Pero and kumbaga, yung caring ni Mama Katkat sa akin when it comes to me as a drag queen was because magkatrabaho talaga kami. Pero I mean, dito kasi sa Pilipinas, honestly, walang konsepto talaga ng drag house eh. You just make up for it. Kumbaga yung mga drag house ngayon, naglabasa na lang. Pero yung mga drag house ngayon, base yun sa Pose, yung series, base yun sa Drag Race. Pero ano bang pinaka-konsepto talaga ng Filipino drag houses? Wala naman talaga eh. So, most likely, friends, family. Ganun turingan. Friends, family, co-workers. Ganun. Caring. So, yeah.
I think that's fine. And I get that. It's weird nga, parang when it gets... Because I encounter someone who describes themselves that way, and like it's like, okay, then why? But why do you say that other than sharing one part of your name na pareho kayo lahat?
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah. Aside from that, what else? So
although I feel that's always a human nature thing, that desire to distinguish and try to define yourself as a subset separate from everyone else. And diba? Kasi we as social creatures, we crave to define a meaning or to give a meaning to this relationship we share with people. And for some, since they're thinking they're doing drag, then maybe this is a drag house. It's the best way to define it. But they haven't really thought further why it should be a drag house and not just this and that.
And kung may mga makakapanood dito ng mga bata, merong iba kasi akong na-encounter na merong connotation na if you're a starting drag queen, dapat meron kang house. No.
That's a misconception that many start with, yes.
Wala.
Dapat meron kang drag mom. No.
Because that's how it was for ball culture.
Ball culture in New York, specifically at that time period.
Yes. Know your history, young ones.
Yeah, we are in the Philippines. Hello.
And ako naman, I'm still always open to, it's fine if you want to emulate others, but know your history.
True.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Because as creative people, we do have the power to redefine. We do have the power to grab something and give it a new meaning. But if you're doing that without knowing the meaning in the first place, then you're kind of missing the point.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kumbaga, that's the equivalent of, you're not doing drag, you're just dress up, which is insulting. But
Mhm.
then, that's the act of not knowing the history and the
Yeah.
meaning behind it. Can't redefine something without embracing the definition first. Okay, so
That's that's another
Traumatizing.
that's another episode.
Diba?
yes,
Exactly.
okay. Admittedly, I would love to consider having maybe once a month an AnTuTan Says episode where we
Yeah.
talk about a specific topic.
Oh my God, Kenny.
Specifically,
For
ano?
example, let's say April, AnTuTan Says, and Baduy Pride, we tackle shade. And then
To be
May,
fair,
we tackle for May, kunyari, we tackle the concept of tucking. Parang ganon. Parang we have a...
we are not good people to talk about that.
Yeah, but that's the point. We're the outsiders, and with
Okay.
them, we can then have an interesting conversation about the
To
topic.
be fair, kasi we invite for suggestions every episode, and then we have a long queue of stuff. There are a number of topics that we haven't touched at all kasi we
Because-
always feel like hindi bagay na kami lang.
Or hindi tayo dapat lang ang mag-usap. We don't have the background or the right to be the ones to talk about
Yeah, like one was shade, one was
the local drag scene.
local drag perspective. The other was us, drag personas for us, which is
Mhm.
weird, but I don't know. I can't. I still haven't figured out if I were to ever have a drag persona, what it would look like. I've seen Toby's drag persona, and never
Di
again.
mo alam to, no, Anita? Na nag-show ako sa Malate. Alam mo? Pero hindi mo napanood. Wala ka nun.
I think I was wala ako.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Si Mon lang yung nakanood nun eh. Kasi gumapang ako sa ilalim ni Mon nun eh. Yung show niya. 3 week ko nun ah.
Arlo was asking, will there be a Google Sheet where we can send in questions?
It's the same. It's the same sheet all the time.
Flash the link.
But I will. It's like
So for those who are watching now who might be new to Baduy
I
Pride,
bitly linked it.
we have a bit.ly link that we're open to suggestions. We're open to ideas for future episodes. We always do this at the end of the show, actually.
Yeah.
But since you asked, yeah, that's the link where you can send in your ideas. But honestly, I would love to have at least a monthly
I don't
AnTuTan Says
mind.
crossover. If you guys would be
I
interested
don't-
in that.
I don't mind if you don't mind.
Every first Fridays of the month.
Oh my
That is
God! First Friday have hit, except for April's. Well, no, this is April na pala.
Parang
First Friday
ganon.
na to.
Ang ano ko lang is, of course, there's that understanding na, yun nga because we always want it to feel spontaneous. We always still want it to be fun. So it's never an academic-only perspective.
Okay.
So like, even if, let's say, we'll talk about tucking, for example, we're not just going to talk about tucking specifically. We'll talk about all forms of tucking. We'll talk about,
Sige.
problems we had with big crotches or
Oh,
adhesive problems or yung mga ganyan-ganyan.
So they
Or
never
parang-
had that problem.
that's true. That's true. That's not shade. That's true. I never talk. Pansin nyo ba? Napapansin nyo ba every time nag-perform ako, there's this tiny little bump.
Turing, it wasn't always tiny.
Or that's true.
Because Turing, you have to keep in mind, if this is you performing sa O-Bar, this is you on stage. And this is us.
All the time.
And then, I'll remind you, mahilig kang gumanyan. Di ba?
And to be fair,
Oh my God, buti na
ito
lang
may
nagawa
video.
ko to.
buti na lang hindi Sunday ang episode ko. Hindi, mag-Easter egg hunt
Ito
tayo.
may video ako palagi.
Oh my God, oo nga pala. Well, kailangan ko na mag-tack. Ayoko kasi nang nagtatak. Kasi,
Anyway, those are the type of topics I'd love to talk about. Because
Yeah,
syempre,
nag-init yung katawan ko sa iya.
we talk about the topics with their perspective. We talk about it from our perspective, our assumptions, our misunderstandings, our what we know about it.
I mean, I don't mind, but then oh my God, I feel like we're also still juggling like all the different drag queens we're talking
Yes,
to.
of course. But I will admit, I will admit, when there's a certain wavelength, I'm effortless to keep talking for 3 hours.
Wala story.
Well,
Yeah. I mean, yun na yun. So,
Nag-tap lang po si Torin.
I mean,
Kaya nga sabi nung
I
ano,
wouldn't mind, and we can discuss this, and I'm sure, and even Carlos, like, you know, a Baduy Pride AnTuTan Says, like, crossover. It's the one I never knew I needed.
yeah, I think we can talk about that more. We can see if it's a feasible thing to do. I think it's an opportunity kasi to I like this I like this difference of perspectives.
Oh, lalo na with Samael, no?
Yes,
Sobrang-
lalo na with Samael.
It's a unique perspective amongst performers that we get to talk to.
And I feel this is something that I hope people eventually will find because there's more to know and more to connect with in these conversations.
Kung ganun, may page na tayo.
Mm-mm.
may kakaroon na ng Facebook page.
But yeah, I guess that's it. Anything else? If not, we shall go to the closing spiel kasi that means they get the closing
So I think we
spiels.
can just check is there anything that we'll go around, but is there stuff that anyone wants to promote or share, or at least your
Social
socials?
media.
Mrs. Tan, you want to start?
you can follow me you can follow me across all social media platforms. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook page, also sa Kumu, Hey Mrs. Tan, that's HEYMRST, Hey Mrs. Tan. I always post new updates every now and then. Tapos, gusto ko lang din i-promote yung regular shows after everything is okay na after this Holy Week. Babalik na tayo sa regular programming natin. So, meron tayong Love, Sex, and Drugs every Saturday sa Spaces Manila page together with MC Black and of course, Evil Queen. And every Saturday, Queen's Night sa Spaces Manila. Malapit na ulit ako mag-set, so abangan nyo yun. Tapos, of course, my Sparkle Guru MSG sa Sparkle Cosmetics. And lastly, of course, promote natin every Sunday, your Sunday habit, ang ASAP. AnTuTan.
Asap talaga.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
To be sure, but LSD every other Tuesday, diba?
Yes.
So for a while I thought I heard Saturday, but yeah, Tuesday every other Tuesday. Okay.
Yung Queen's Night
Next.
yung every Saturday.
Yes, Queen's Night is Saturday. Yes. Anita, you want to share
Ang dami-
socials?
Ang daming show ni Tano.
Oo.
Yeah,
Suddenly, I was thinking, oh my God, another thing we could try doing is like the different spaces, or at least some of the spaces hosts, because I can only accommodate up to 5, but then like someone from LST, then
get to know them.
we've already
also.
talked to
Yeah, I'd love to get to
Clea
know them.
Torres, and I don't know the Friday show. Yung iba di ko kilala yung at all. So anyway, sorry.
Anita, para may close-up shots din siya.
Yes,
Just please follow me on my Instagram and like it's at Queen Anita, and always every Sunday the ASAP of Drag and AnTuTan Says.
Mhm.
Yay.
Yung thirst.
Yung thirst page.
Oh yes!
Thirst
Thank you
code
so
mo.
much for reminding me. If gusto nyo mag-inom, lalo na ngayong weekend, and hindi kayo pwedeng lumabas, takot lumabas, tinatamad lumabas, just download Fierce Liquor on Demand on Google Play Store and App Store. And please don't forget to use my promo code at Queen Anita to get 5% discount and free deliveries within Metro Manila and nearby area. So I guess that means NCR plus bubble. So ayun po. Lahat they can offer lahat naman ng kinds of liquor beverages.
Yeah, admittedly, I like yung lineup ng Thirst. Although we're still working through Christmas vodka donations, but before that we were ordering from Thirst. Okay.
And I believe,
And
correct
then-
me if I'm wrong, medyo mas mura siya, no?
Nafe-feel ko yun. Tsaka mas kompleto. Mas kompleto yung lineup versus
Yes.
like a few of the others I tried. Okay, Turing.
Ayan. You can follow me on my social media accounts of Instagram at Turing Quinto, Twitter. Wag na lang sa Twitter kasi puro porn lang naman pinapanood ko doon. So,
Then that
Pero
is a
kung gusto-
topic for a different episode.
Pero kung gusto mo rin naman sa Twitter, Turing Quinto rin as well. What else? I have a YouTube channel, kakapost ko lang ng bagong video. Actually, yung una kong pinost na video the other day was about my depression and how I am
Yes.
coping it.
Yes.
Tapos,
We watched that.
ipa-follow up ko yung makeup video na sinabi kong gagawin ko. Tapos ko na rin siya, ipapost ko na lang bukas, mamaya. And then, I just finished another makeup tutorial and then i-edit ko na. So, I will try to make it as regular. I will try to post as regular as I can sa YouTube channel ko. Turing Quinto, same name. And also sa TikTok, Turing Ring Ring. Ayun. Thank you.
Yeah. And ay nako, your YouTube stuff is a blessing. But again, don't feel ako naman, I always say don't feel pressured. I mean, if you're not feeling it, then don't force it. Diba? Parang in the end, it must still be, you have to be in the right headspace to
Yes.
create stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you cannot pour from an empty cup and all these things.
Yes.
True.
Mrs. Tan, there was something else you wanted to bring up?
Nakalimutan ko pala of course, huwag niyo kakalimutan, every now and then, every weekdays kami madalas ang LA Queens with
Ay, oo
Artistry.
nga.
So, yeah.
Madalas ko yung parang Thursday or Tuesday.
Thursday or
Parang
Friday or basta weekdays.
Yun nga eh.
Mhm.
May weekday.
Kasi
you know,
Sunday may ASAP, tapos Saturday may Queens Night.
Mhm.
it's so hard, every day of the week. And then it's always like we're like at our computer and then si Toby oy, nag-live si ganyan. And then may pause kami na kaya ba natin manood ngayon? And then we'll find a way. So, pressure pag weekdays. I know.
So we'd like again to extend our thanks to everyone who joined us for these 3+ hours.
Oh my
It's
God.
almost 4.
We're approaching
oh my
the
God.
Snyder Cut.
It's
Okay.
super amazing to have you all here. For those who are new to the show, Baduy Pride shows almost nightly at 9 p.m. Mondays tend to be about board games, role-playing games, and anything very gamey, geeky. Tuesday, Thursday, Fridays tend to be different topics that we come up with. We usually pull from people's suggestions, and if we can have guests, we try to have
guests on Fridays.
And then sometimes on Sundays, we do what we call check-in sessions. It's basically episodes where we talk about how we're handling the pandemic, how we're feeling. Everyone's welcome to join us in those sessions when you're available, because sometimes it just helps to know you're not alone in handling the stress and the trauma.
But those have to wrap up by 10. Kasi
Yes.
nga, AnTuTan after.
Oh, we have to be ready for the show. We have to watch the show. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. It meant so much. It's been such a wonderful evening. We had so much fun, and we hope you will join us again next time.
Last
Okay.
screenshot naman tayo.
Yes,
oh my
yes, yes.
God, we didn't screenshot
naman tayo.
Okay.
We were able to take a few with Samel.
Oh, pero noong time na yun, frozen si Anita. Okay, screenshot. 1, 2, 3. Okay. That's a place. Okay. Yay! Thank you. Okay, closing spiel moment.
Yeah.
So if you have questions or suggestions for future episodes, fill out the Google form at bit.ly Baduy Pride Ideas. You can follow us on Twitter. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yep.
go on.
You can follow us on Twitter, Altobi No Shade, RG Sunico. No
also-
porn there. No.
Yeah, I was just worried that I couldn't see them. They're there.
Yeah, they're still here.
Yeah. You can check out our blog, baduypride.com, for all the previous episodes. That's 169 episodes and stuff about us.
Feel free to continue the conversation in the comments below and let us know what you thought about this night with AnTuTan Says. Do you have questions you weren't able to address?
Were you hoping to buy that fan if it's available?
And then
I
let us
hope.
know in the comments so we can schedule another session. And be sure to subscribe for notifications on Facebook or YouTube so you don't miss our next live stream. Once again, I'm Rocky.
And I'm Toby.
And this is Baduy Pride with AnTuTan Says. Thank you and good night, everyone.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye.